Hi everyone, my name is Babar Ahmad. I spent 11 years in prison in 2 countries, in the US and the UK. 10 of those years I was held without trial. I hold the record for being the longest detained without charge British citizen in the modern history of the UK. I have plenty of prison stories to tell, plenty of war stories to tell. I spent time in prison with drug lords, cartel members, organized crime bosses. I saw violence. I saw stories of hope, of despair, of redemption, resilience, vulnerability, stories on all of these topics, you name it. If you want to hear some of these stories, then tune into the Shizzio Show, and I hope you enjoy it.
Street life is the only life that we know. Ghetto life, down in the ghetto we born and grow. No, no, no.
Okay, we are back. Another show. You know, the shows are doing amazing. Thank you to everyone. Yeah, we're building slowly, but we're going to get there. The road is long, but we will get there. You know what? I was at a barbecue, last week, 2 weeks ago, UK Apache, big up. It was in deep south. It took me 1 hour and 40 minutes to get there. I could have gone to Birmingham in that time. Alas, I was just across London. Anyway, I was there and I was introduced to this brother. And I thought, I've heard that name. And then I just carried on and I was eating my jerk chicken and it was lovely, beautiful. And the brother next to me was speaking to some other brothers, and my ear couldn't help but, you know, listen to a few of these stories that were being told, and then everything fit into place. Like, okay, I remember this gentleman. So this episode could be pretty deep, but let's see what happens. Mr. Babar Ahmad is here. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, come on. Don't be silly. Thank you so much. I know I was in South, but it's nice that you've done the journey over.
Yes.
We've spoken briefly. Is it Babar first or Babar?
Babar, I'm okay, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Babar. I don't do the English way, man.
I don't mind
you
doing
can say it the proper way.
Babar, of course
Babar
I
is
can.
okay, man.
Babar Ahmad, how are you firstly?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm doing well. Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Okay, so when you Google your name, a lot comes up.
Yeah.
Like a lot. So
Yeah.
shall we just? I don't know how we can do this. Shall we start from the start, but there are a lot of buzzwords that are related around your name. Words like jihad, etc. Okay. So if people don't know you, what is the kind of opening statement for someone that would be like, oh, I remember that guy?
The guy who spent so I'm the guy who spent 11 years in prison in the UK. I hold the record for being the longest detained without charge British citizen in the modern history of the UK.
Sorry, hold on. So let's not skim over that.
Okay.
You are the longest detainee in UK prison with no charge.
At one point I was, yes.
11 years.
8 years in the UK, and then I was extradited to the United States.
Right, so you spent 8 years in prison with no charge.
Yeah, 8 years in the UK and 3 years in the US. So 11 altogether.
But you know, just saying that seems absolutely ludicrous. Like, I can't even compute, but we will get there. Sorry, you were saying.
It's
right.
okay. Yeah, so I'm the guy who spent 11 years in prison in the UK and the US. People might remember because the day I was extradited, I was put on a private jet from a Royal Air Force base in October 2012. It's all over the news. And I spent 3 years there, and I came home in 2015.
Okay, you were saying off camera, you said when it comes to stories, I've got them all. You did say that to me.
Yes.
Yeah, you said, okay, well, what do you want? I got them all. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take them all.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go back. Born and bred here, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bham, Tooting.
Yeah.
South London.
Parents from?
Parents from Pakistan.
Come on, we love that. Where in Pakistan?
So, mum's side from Karachi.
Yeah.
And dad's side, they're Urdu speaking, but they were living in Quetta, which is on the border in Balochistan province.
Okay, cool. And did you go there often as a kid?
As a kid, yeah, I used to go on some holidays.
We used to go some holidays, 6 weeks, that's it. You're here, you're there. And you learn so much, but you don't realise, do you?
We loved it, yeah. And we picked up the language and got to connect with grandparents.
Yeah, and that was every summer.
Not every, but whenever, parents could afford it.
Yeah,
you know,
that was kind of the done thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And childhood was good?
Yeah, no one has a perfect childhood, but
No.
I'm happy. I've got a lot of happy memories.
And what was life like in South London? Because us East folk, we don't really venture down those areas, you know.
Yeah. 80s was quite rough in terms of, people talk about racism now, but if you grew up in the 80s was racist.
Yeah.
And, memories of like racism. I grew up on an estate. And just used to play there and football, cricket out on the streets, and older boys used to come and tease us and sometimes subject us to verbal abuse. It's actually a fight that I had when I was 12 that I would say was one of the major turning points in my life.
Okay, so this racism is quite prominent throughout your kind of childhood.
It's there, yeah. I wouldn't say it's that big, but it's definitely something for me as a child. I do remember.
Is there a lot of Asians there, or is there a lot of black and Asian? What's the mix?
Yeah, equal mix, I would say. A lot of white, some black, some Asian.
And is the racism coming from one particular, like the white party, like white people?
Yeah.
Like black and Asians are not. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to paint.
Yeah.
So
it's mainly
Asian and
coming
black
from
people are all cool, kind of.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Yeah. You get your odd spot in overall, but the racism's coming from.
It's coming from the white people. Yeah.
And it's strong and fierce.
Sometimes, yeah, it could have been, yeah. Could have been strong and fierce.
Have you got brothers and sisters, sir?
I have, yeah, but that's not something. It's a private thing.
That's fine.
Are you talk about that?
Are you the oldest? I'm just trying to figure out.
No, I'm number 2 or 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, what type of racism what would be one of the what's one of the ones that stick out as kind of?
When I was 12, I was just my mum used to teach kids the local area like tuition, maths and English. Going with my brother to pick her up. I think we were coming back and saw a couple of kids from a couple of roads away. And I knew this kid because I used to go primary school with him, and he used to. The thing I remember about him is that he used to play with the girls. It was like you got 7, 8 girls, and you got this guy.
Hey, there's always one, you know.
There's always one.
Thinking early, my God.
Yeah. You're talking like the 80s.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's there with his younger brother, and so I'm 12, he's 12. Shane, his name was. Shane is 12. Shane's younger brother Gavin is 11, and then another friend of ours from the same class at primary school was Alan, who's 12. And then Shane starts shouting, Packy, go back to your country, Packy, and this and that and the other. And I'm with my brother, who was 2 years older than me, he's 14. So went home, and then about an hour later, I had to go back to get my mum again. And I was thinking about what do we do, and tellingly, I spoke to my brother. I didn't speak to my dad because I knew what he's going to say. Don't get involved, don't fight or whatever. I spoke to my brother. I said, "What are we going to do?" And he said, "There's no way." He said, "You're going to have to fight him."
Your brother said
so. That? Yeah, he said, "There's no way." He said, "You're going to have to fight him." He said, "I'll be there, but it'll be you two that were fighting." And I wasn't like a violent kid or anything like that. So I was quite scared, but. I thought, okay, it has to be done. So up to that point in my life, in primary school, I'm this shy, quiet, meek kid. I'm the kid who gets picked on by everyone. I'm the kid who gets picked last for football. I'm the quiet. I was good at studies, but I'm the quiet kid who never puts his hand up, and I'm just this quiet, shy little kid. So anyway, I'm scared, but he said I'll be there. Don't worry. And so we go there, and we can't see them. Then my brother says, "Call his name." So I shout his name, and it echoes through the.
It's like a scene of a movie. Shane.
That's exactly
Shane.
What it was.
Yeah.
It was like a Western movie.
Yeah.
I said, "Shane," and you could hear it echo. And then in the distance, and the three of them, they appear.
Okay.
So then we come. The mistake we made is that was his turf, because that was his estate, and
right.
It's outside his house. then we had like the pre-fight discussions and all that because Shane was
Pre-fight weigh-in.
because Shane was scared that my brother's going to join in. So even though my brother's 14, but when you're 12, 14 is like, it's quite a jump.
Of course.
My brother said, no, I'm not going to join in. So then basically me and Shane, we start fighting. While I'm fighting him, I remember this car pulled up and it had these 4 Pakistani guys in it. So they would have been 18, 19.
Right.
I remember they were wearing like shalwar kameez, they had hats,
Yeah.
they had like beards. They looked like maybe madrasa students or something. And so they stopped to watch the fight. So anyway, fight goes on and I start pummeling him, I start battering him. And he then gets a nosebleed, he's bleeding. Gavin, meanwhile, goes inside and tells his mum that Barbara is beating up Shane.
Right.
So while this fight is going on, she comes out, tall Irish woman, like 6 foot tall, strongly built. Next thing I know, and I'm bald now, but I used to have hair. not as much as you, but I used to have hair. She comes to me, she grabs me by my hair, pulls me back, so she's standing behind me, and she starts slapping me repeatedly on my face. And starts saying, don't you effing touch my son again, you understand me? And I'm petrified, and my brother, who's also a kid, is only 14, he's petrified. And she's just slapping me like repeatedly. I think she grabbed me by my hand, and then she like grabbed my head, and she's slapping me. And I'm like, okay. And she tells her son to go inside. So the thing I remember about that is that those 4 guys, they never said anything. Not only did they not do anything,
They're just watching.
they didn't even say to her that he's a kid, leave her alone.
Yeah.
You know, they just stood there like you know. And something I learned from that was when you see something happening that's not right, always try to do something. If you can't physically intervene, or you're not strong enough to physically intervene, at least say something, or get help, or do something.
Yeah.
So anyway, so later I found out that I don't know if it was because of the fight, or I mean I thought she did it, but I had like a fracture on my thumb, and it's in a plaster cast for 3 weeks. We told the police came to the house, took a statement, and being Asian parents, you know, just give her a caution. You know, they were afraid of the process, what's going to happen. Just warn her, just give her a caution.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, because she never looked at me again. But after that, I became a graduate of pain because I'd been hit.
Right. What does he mean by a graduate of pain?
Meaning anyone can throw a punch, but you can't really take care of yourself in a fight unless you've been hit.
Right.
And so I'd been hit, and I lived.
Yeah.
And more importantly, that was like a turning point in my life, because after that, I just suddenly found this newfound confidence. When walking down the street, I started doing really well at school. I mean, I was doing well anyway, but I started doing really well at school.
Right.
I started speaking up more. I just had this newfound confidence.
Right.
So I'm actually grateful for that.
Are you getting into more fights than after that?
No.
Just that one fight?
No. I had one at secondary school, but I was a well-behaved kid.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. So then, at what point then do you kind of, because I've read that you went abroad and stuff. So,
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the Islam point. Are you practicing quite from like young, or I know from our parents and stuff, we always taught it from you going to the masjid like often and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think when I was about so obviously I was brought up as a kid, and I'm into the same things that kids are into, computer games, football, or whatever. Up to the age of 12, I think, I had an older boy in our area, and he used to come and take us to the mosque, and I went there and I started taking a keen interest myself.
Yeah.
So that's like really young then, like 12, 13. Start taking a keen interest in it myself, and I start praying, and I want to learn. So then it's not just what parents told me, it's like I'm doing my own.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, it's like a journey we sort of did together. And then we had like a little group, and I'm getting my friends together, and we'd chill out, we'd play football, we'd go out, and we'd also like study the religion and all that ourselves.
Okay.
So I'm at secondary school now, all teenage secondary school. That's what I'm doing. I'm not a bad kid. I'm doing well at studies. Then I'm 18.
Right.
And studying for my A-levels. There's about 2-3 months left, and that's when the war in Bosnia started. So Bosnia is a country in the center of Europe. Used to be where the former Yugoslavia is. And I was just watching. In those days, there was no internet, no YouTube, none of that. So I'm just watching TV, and I see this news report that there's a war taking place there, and some really bad things are happening to Muslims. Part of it's a little bit confusing for me because they're white people, like not white. They're like white European people,
Right.
but they're Muslims.
Right.
No, they're not converts or reverts.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like born Muslims.
Okay.
And I saw this. Then I just started to follow the news. I did my A-levels, and I'm just following the news, reading the newspapers, following the news about Bosnia, and I saw this clip, which was, I think it was August. This is, now we're talking 1992. I saw this clip where you got this guy and you could like see his ribs, and they're standing behind this barbed wire. I studied about the Holocaust at school, and about what happened to the Jews in the Second World War. And maybe after that fight with Shane, and also once I got mugged when I was younger as well, no one did anything. I was also this person, I think I'd become this person that if something happened, don't be a bystander.
Right.
Try to do something. So I started university at Imperial College. I was doing a degree in aeronautical engineering.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I mean, it sounds more
Well,
better
Imperial
than it is.
College is a
Imperial College is a good place.
It's
yeah.
a good place, and
Yeah,
the grades
yeah.
I suspect that you need quite high to get in, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that demonstrates a level of intellect for sure.
Yeah, I mean, going to university, as I learned from my prison years, it's it's definitely an advantage, but having a degree is not what makes you intelligent.
Yeah.
You know, being well traveled or well spoken with people, or well, I met guys in prison who could not even write their name, but they were clued up, because they were street smart. And
We're gonna get to prison. We're gonna get to prison. Don't put the
Yeah.
cart before the horse,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Okay, so you're seeing all of these things on TV,
Yeah.
and it's giving you impact in a certain way, right? Where
Yeah.
you feel like I want to do something.
Yeah.
Can I do something?
Yeah.
And then I guess there's a big thing between can I do something, should I do something, to I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
So is there a junction in which you say, right, I'm actually going to do something? Do you know what I mean?
So I saw this. So I'm following the news reports. I'm reading the newspapers, and there's a lot of buzz in the Muslim community in the UK at the time that look what's happening in Bosnia. This isn't a far off country. It's not like Afghanistan, or it's not somewhere in Africa. This is like Europe. We are in Europe, and I thought. So I think after the end of my first term at university, I decided that I'm going to go there, and I wanted to go and join an aid convoy. Or I wanted to go and do some relief work there.
Right.
I'm 18. 18, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And nor did I, but I just knew I wanted to do something.
Yeah. But it still is interesting that you said, I'm going to go
Yeah.
into a war zone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might think that, I'd love to be able to have, dare I say it, the balls to do it.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing. And I presume you speak to others around you about your intentions to go.
Yeah, I spoke to people and I said, I want to go I want to do some relief work there. And initially I was going to go by myself.
Right.
And but as it happened, then I spoke to some like friends, and they knew others, and we ended up being like two or three of us, that went.
And what about your parents when you told them that,
Obviously they're worried. Obviously they don't want me to go, and I reassured them, look, it's safe, and what I'm doing, I'm just going there to to do some relief work and to help those people. And generally I was a good kid throughout my teenage, so that sort of level of trust was there. It's not like I'm lying to them or anything.
And do you have like doubts but when you're going there, or are you the type of person, once you made up your mind, it's kind of, you don't turn back kind of thing?
No, I don't think. When I bought the ticket, and I saved up for it, because when you're a student you don't have much money, and I saved up for it. Once I bought the ticket, then I'm going. I mean, when you're 18, you don't really think about risks. You don't think about what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So you literally just pack your bag with 2 or 3 friends.
Yeah, with 2 friends. Yeah, so the 3 of us, and go to the airport, and I fly into Zagreb, Croatia.
And you are allowed to do that. Like there's no.
Yeah. So at that time, so Zagreb, Croatia is like the country next to Bosnia.
Right.
I land in Croatia, Zagreb airport, and war has a smell. It's
Right.
like you can define it as a mixture of diesel and gunpowder.
Right.
And smell is a very powerful memory. You know,
Right.
people remember smells. They remember smells of like, you know, their mum used to cook a certain dish, for example, or such and such uncle used to wear certain perfume. It's a very powerful memory.
Right.
And I still remember that. It's been like, you know, over 30 years.
Right.
I'm seeing like C-130 Hercules planes at the airport, UN written everywhere, Red Cross. Something's going on. There's like a buzz that I haven't come to a normal place. And I'm not even in Bosnia. I'm just in Croatia, which is like the neighboring country.
So does fear enter your mind at any point here, or is this propelling you further? Like, do you know what I mean?
Not at that point. I think it's more sort of like an excitement.
Yeah. Okay.
Excitement is more like a wow.
Things are happening.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Something's happening.
Cool. And you're with two other friends.
Yeah.
All right. It's like a scene from like Four Lions. I'm like that.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Right. So you're going, and then what?
Yeah.
You cross the border. How do you get across? Like, where's this information coming from?
So so I spent some time in Croatia visiting refugee centers, and that's having quite an impact on me because now I'm talking to people and I'm hearing stories about things that have been happening there. And the Bosnians are people that have been Muslims for centuries, and after Yugoslavia broke up, the Bosnians, they declared independence, and the Serbs, who are another ethnic group who are Orthodox Christians, they weren't happy with that, and they declared that we're going to basically cleanse them and wipe out the bloodline of the Muslims. So how they'd been doing that was, I mean, Gaza is on the news now, genocide, all of that. Without trying to diminish what's happening in Gaza, where people are being killed from the air. This was much more up close,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You had like 50,000 women were raped in rape camps systematically. They're going into mosques. They are cutting off the private parts of imams. They're getting pages of the Quran. They're using it as toilet paper. They're rubbing like toilet all over the mosques, for example. There's some like severe, horrific brutality that's going on.
But how are you fact checking this type of stuff? Is it just
Ordinary people? There's interpreters.
Yeah.
And which I'm just talking to the ordinary people, and they're telling stories about what happened
Right.
to them.
Okay. And you're just trying to help these people in the refugee camps.
Yeah, just I mean, I'm picking up like loading trucks with like rice and flour.
Yeah.
And just like manual stuff.
And how long are you there
just
for
like
in that Croatia?
I can't remember. Maybe it's about a week or so.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool.
It's a short time. Then the opportunity came to go into Bosnia itself.
Right.
To join a convoy that was actually going into convoy. So we're going into Bosnia. So we're talking December '92. It's cold. It's winter. There's snow everywhere. So
And is this to give aid? What is this?
yeah.
Right.
We're taking in aid.
Right.
So
So you get offered that, and do you like accept it straight away, or are you kind of hesitant?
Yeah, straight away. I mean, I wanted to go into Bosnia. That's why I went there. I didn't want to stay in Croatia.
Right. But when you hear all these stories that you heard for the past week, are you not somewhat in doubt? Are you not somewhat in fear?
No.
Does fear not? He's laughing, but I've got to ask this question.
I mean,
it's like you're going towards a war zone full, and it's like fear has not entered your mind.
the thing is,
So I'm curious to the mindset.
The thing is, if I was talking to an 18-year-old of myself now, okay, I'm 50 now, and if I'm talking to an 8, I'll be like, are you crazy? What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But I'm 18, I'm not thinking about all these things. I'm not, I've got no clue what I'm getting
It's amazing
into.
how that works, but I understand when you're young, you just don't care. There's things that you do, you just don't.
You don't care about anything, you
But
got no
this
family,
is literally
you got no
life and death, though.
responsibility.
This is a whole new.
Yeah, but I mean,
Animal.
even that hasn't clocked on. So to tell you, that's where my mind is at. And they
Right.
say something about like the brains of like, your brain doesn't fully settle until you're about 22 or 23 or something.
Right,
Some
right.
people hasn't settled. But they're 52.
Yeah.
But your brain doesn't really set. So you're still teenage. That's why they've got this thing, they call it teenagers, where they're not kids and they're not adults. They're like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. And are your friends going with you?
Yeah, those two are with me. Yeah.
And they share the same mindset.
Yeah. All of us.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go and do something. Let's
Okay.
let's go and help these people.
So you agree, you go in.
Yeah.
How's that journey? All right?
So
Not all right, but I mean like...
yeah, there's a lot of checkpoints and a lot of waiting, and we're going through like safe territory, but whereas we're going from, it's sort of like going from London to Birmingham, but you're going via Glasgow. So
Right, yeah.
because of the way the war is, and you have to like go around. So enter Bosnia, and then we start seeing proper UN like armored vehicles, and seeing the first city we went to was a city called Mostar, and there was a bridge that I think it was a 15th century bridge that the Ottomans they built, connecting the two halves of the city. They destroyed that, and what's quite striking is that there was a Christian half of the city on one side, and there was a Muslim half on the other. The Muslim half was completely destroyed. You see holes in the houses where they've been shot by tanks and artillery. There was all the mosque minarets. They specifically targeted them. But on the Christian side, it's virtually like untouched.
So how did that make you feel when you could actually see it with your own eyes now? Two different...
It's, so much is happening. I'm absorbing and take it all in, but I haven't really had time to process it.
Right.
So I'm seeing all of these things. It's like an overload. I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, I'm smelling things. I'm talking to people, and all of this is going on. I can't remember. I think maybe we passed through Mostar. We spent a night there. I can't remember. So eventually, then we make it to this city called Travnik. Travnik is now bang in the middle of central Bosnia. We go there, and we go to visit. We're staying in a house there. We go to visit this. It's like a disused school, like a maybe 4 or 5 story school, and it's been turned into a makeshift refugee camp. And people are so there's all the classrooms have been turned into, you got like
Makeshift hospital kind of.
yeah, not even hospital, just people are just living there.
Yeah.
So you've got like sort of like clotheslines hanging there.
Right.
I mean, it's a classroom, but
Yeah.
people are living there. Loads of people in each room. And we went there, and just some people talking to the people. Some of it is like the days you're just spending, you're like boring or you got nothing to do. One guy, I remember, he starts, we're talking to one guy, having a conversation in one of the classrooms, and he starts telling this story about something that happened in his village. And he's saying, and this is a bit, trigger warning for your viewers. It's quite gory and quite graphic, has violence and sexual violence. He said that the Serb paramilitaries came to our village, and they got this mum and this daughter, who's their daughter as a toddler, like 3 years old. And what they did then is that they gang raped the little girl in front of the mum. Then they killed the girl. I think they slit her throat, or they I'm not sure how they killed her. Then they got the body of the girl and they put it into a meat grinder, and they made mince out of it, and they cooked it, and they forced the mother to eat it at gunpoint.
Oh, wow.
So, and the guy, he's like crying as he's like telling this, and I hear this, and
How is the guy alive after seeing all this?
I mean,
do have to ask these
I don't
questions.
think he witnessed this,
Right.
but this is something happened in his village.
Because
I
I
think
got
someone
asked
told
from
him.
like a point of the viewers.
Yeah,
They'll be
yeah,
like, all right, well,
yeah.
how do you know this is true?
I mean,
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got to be devil's advocate here as well.
Yeah.
How do you know this is true?
I mean, you make, just like in life, you make an estimation.
Right.
Like your viewers looking at me and seeing, is this guy telling the truth or is he lying?
Yeah.
You make an estimation about that, and it completely fit with all the other stories and everything. All the
Right,
other
so you're
accounts that
hearing
I'd heard.
similar type of stories from people that
Yeah.
don't know each other.
Yes,
If that,
yes.
if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
then
yeah,
at
yeah.
one point your brain's going to be like, well, hold on.
Yeah, there's no phones in those days.
That's
I
what I
don't have a
mean.
phone in my
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah.
They don't. They
Right.
can't like, hey, these guys come from Britain, and he's
Yeah. But,
people are in a war zone. They got
Yeah.
more things to worry about.
okay. No, but I do have to ask these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're there, and then what happens?
So anyway, after that, then I remember I went back to the house where we were staying at, and I think I remember being quite quiet after having heard that. Went back. Even the other two were there, so we didn't talk much. And then that was quite a difficult night.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. And then the morning, I sort of made my mind up that what's the point of giving rice and flour to people to whom this is happening? I want to stop it happening.
Right.
So then at that point I said, okay, is there any way that we can fight to defend the people to stop this happening?
Okay.
So there was a Bosnian army, I don't know what it was, like a center or an office or something like that. And so then I asked the people around me, and they said, go and talk to those guys. So I went to them.
Are your friends thinking the same as well, or is
yeah, we sort of did it together. Yeah.
You said right. You said right. We're not going to give aid. We actually.
I mean,
be soldiers.
I said, guys, this is what I want to do. If you guys want to come, this was my trip. I was prepared. I was coming on my own, and then these two guys came along.
Right.
I said, this is what I want to do. You don't have to be in if you're in. Okay, if not. So they said, yeah, let's do it.
Again, fear has not entered your mind at this point.
No, I don't have a clue what it's about.
You just know you want to help people.
And I want to do more now than just giving biscuits and flour and rice to people to whom this is happening.
Okay.
So we go to the Bosnian Army office, and then they arrange for us. And I sort of bigged up because I used to be in the cadets at school.
Sorry to laugh. But he said, I was in the cadets in school at CV. That's...
So I used to be in the cadets, and I knew how to handle rifles and firearms, and I'd done a lot of firing and all that stuff, and essentially you just need to know how to use a rifle. So I told them that, look, I know how to use a gun.
Right.
And I want to help protect your people. So they then arranged, put us in a minibus, and then they dropped us to this, I don't know how far it was, maybe it's like an hour away, I can't remember, through the mountains. And then we end up in this village up in the mountains, and we stop outside this, it was like a 4 or 5 story building. I don't know what it was, maybe it was a government building or whatever. And I get off and I see this guy. Now all the guys there now, they're all foreigners. None of them are white Bosnians. These are all, they look like they're Arabs. And one of them, he comes up to me, short guy, maybe 5'7", average height. I remembered because he had a squint in his eyes. And this guy's got a long beard, and he's wearing this beret. So he's in army clothes. All of them are in army clothes. He's wearing this beret, and up here it says the Islamic Declaration of Faith, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So then he comes up. I've just got off, and he comes up and he takes my bag. He gives me a hug, and then he takes my bag. He goes, "Come, I'll carry your bag or whatever." So these were a group of fighters who had just defeated the Soviet Union in Afghanistan.
Right.
And April 92 is when the conquest of Kabul happened, where they drove out the communists. They drove out the Soviet Union in 89. They drove out the communists in April 92. And these guys now are battle-hardened veterans.
Right.
And
how many of them are there, sorry?
So in that particular place,
yeah.
there's maybe 50 of them, but in Bosnia at that time, there's a few hundred of them.
Right. And it's still very small when you can...
It's very small.
It's minute, right? Okay.
But these guys had swag.
I said swag! You are Baba, you are fun. I said they had the swagger,
I'm telling you, these guys...
What do you mean the swag?
I mean... You look at these guys, people nowadays talking about masculinity, and it's all about big muscles, and it's about this and about that. They had none of that. But these were people who, some of them from really rich countries and backgrounds, Middle Eastern countries, who came from, and there were some that were members of the royal family. There was a prince that had been killed from Bahrain that had been killed 2 months before I arrived there,
Right.
a volunteer. So you're thinking the guy's living in a palace and he lives all of that, to come into a war zone and to clean toilets and to sit with and eat on the floor with everyone. No one knows he's a prince until after he's killed.
Right.
So just the confidence that these guys had,
The
it's
heart,
like
you mean, like...
the confidence, the humility with confidence. That guy who picked up, the guy with the squint and the beret who picked up my bag, he was their commander. He was the top guy
Right.
out of all of those hundreds of foreign fighters.
Right,
he was their
right.
commander.
Okay.
Wahyuddin, Egyptian guy, may Allah have mercy upon him, he was killed. And he was the big boss. He was the big commander. But he had that humility. He came here, he took my bag and he asked me, how are you? Gave me a hug. And so there's about 50 of them in that particular like village. And I said to them, I said, yeah, I want to come and fight, and I can use and I had to use a gun. And then just to check that we know how to use a gun, then they sent us. We went to another like house in the mountains, and there's snow there. By that time, it's really cold, like minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Oh, really?
We stayed in that house for a few days, and then in the daytime, they'll teach us how to just to make sure, like the AK-47 assault rifle. So you're learning how to strip it, clean it, and eventually, you know how to do it. You do it blindfold.
Is that the final test? Because you see it in films sometimes, don't you?
Yeah,
That-
you do. I mean, AK-47 is
is that
a
an actual
very
thing?
Yeah, it's a very simple rifle to handle,
Right.
and you do it blindfold.
Yeah, I've only played Call of
Because-
Duty, bro. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
compared to like British Army assault rifles or the M16, it's very easy and
Okay.
simple. And why you want to do it with your eyes shut, because you be in a battlefield somewhere, you're not going to have lighting, you're in a
Yeah.
trench, and you need to clean your weapon or you need to remove a blockage. Or
But
whatever,
the
you need
test
to
is
actually
there,
do it.
though. That is the final test to
Yeah.
see. But okay.
So we had some of that. Then they did not have much ammunition. So in terms of firing, I think we had 9 bullets to fire
Okay.
to practice. 3 standing,
Right.
3 sitting, and 3 lying down.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
After that,
They need the ammunition for the war.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just to make sure that you can do it. You know what you're doing, and you can.
But
you
did
can
you hit
shoot
the target, though?
I hit the target. Yeah. I don't think I got the middle, but I did hit the target.
Okay.
So we stayed there for a few days, and there was about maybe 6, 7 of us only in that house. Some of my memories of that place was it was freezing cold. So when we'd get up at Fajr time in the morning to pray, then we'd have to go down. There's like a bathtub that was full of water. You'd have to break the ice from that bathtub, and then we'd use that to to
Wow.
wash and clean.
Can I just say, how long has it been now since you've been in that, left England from up to this junction? What are we talking
A
about?
few weeks maybe.
A few weeks.
Something like that. Short time. Yeah.
Are you speaking to your parents back home or anybody?
No, there's no
There's
phones there.
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah, no phones. No phone.
communication.
No emails. No. I mean, I heard later that I never saw it. I heard someone somewhere had like a satellite phone,
Okay, but
but that's not for us. I
Okay.
never even saw one. But there's no. Yeah, there's nothing like that.
fair enough. Okay, so you do your training,
Yeah.
3 standing, 3 kneeling.
Yeah.
That's like Call of Duty as well.
Call of Duty. Yeah. I remember one thing that happened is that we had different houses that were. And this is a funny thing. So where we're in this house. About half an hour's walk away, there's another house. Now, when you wake up in the morning, there's only one thing on your mind: how do I stay warm until the night?
Right.
Because it's so cold.
Right.
Warmth is more important than food, than drink, than anything. You just want to stay warm.
Yeah.
It's so cold.
Yeah. What are we talking? Minus, was it?
Minus 20. You're in the mountains, the
Right.
Bosnian mountains, and there's no like central heating and hot running
Nothing,
water, nothing
yeah.
like that. Now, the house that's half an hour away, that also like our people, I think it was an outpost, and there was like a couple of guys living there. That had electricity, and it had a bathroom that had an electric heater.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Okay.
So we went there once for some reason, and we're like, boy, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay? So thereafter, that explained why whenever there was any message or any supplies or anything that had to be sent to the other house, you'd have like 6 volunteers. I'll do it. I'll do it. One guy, he went. This old guy, Abu Muslim, Turkish guy, Turkish British. He was killed as well. May Allah have mercy upon him. And he, I think, went to deliver some little message, and he's meant to come back.
He's just staying.
The bro
there.
never came for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And we're like, what happened to him?
Yeah.
And I remember the other guy said that, bro, he's found a place to chill out, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So one time I had to go there, and it was after dark, and I had to go there to deliver a message or so. So I went, and it was like a forest that you had to walk through.
Are these messages like military type messages?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it could be a message. It could be torch batteries.
Okay.
It could be. It's not as glamorous as like, this is the next like.
Yeah. This is the next.
Yeah. It could be some supplies. It could be batteries. It could be someone's medicine, whatever. So I'm now alone, and I thought, I've done this walk before a few times. So I'm in that forest now, and I get lost. Now it's pitch black. I'm in the mountains, and I'm in this forest now, and I'm like, okay, now which way is it? Because in the night, everything's the same. I'm in this forest. Is it this way? Is it that way?
And you're by yourself?
I'm by myself, completely by myself. I'm thinking about what to do, and then I said a prayer. As I prayed to Allah, I said, help me. I don't know what to do. Then I see this dog appear out of nowhere. And the dog is like a few feet away. It just comes from nowhere. It just looks at me, and then it turns around. Then it starts walking up like a path. And at that point, I don't have any other options.
Yeah.
So I followed the dog.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, he's obviously come from somewhere. He probably knows more what he's doing than I do.
Yeah.
He walks a little bit. He stops. He turns around. He looks at me. Then he walks a bit more. Stops. Turns around. Looks at me.
That's crazy.
And eventually takes me to the edge of the forest, and then I go, and I never saw that dog again. Never saw that dog again. Yeah, never saw that.
And you
dog
can see
again.
the house.
Yeah, the house is like right there. I can see the house.
Oh, wow.
And I turn around, and the dog is like gone. Never saw that again.
Oh, wow.
Never saw that dog again.
But the main question is, how long did you spend in the house with the warmth?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just stayed in that bathroom, man. I just like chilled out, like hot water. It had running hot water because it had like a boiler. And it had a light, and it was just. I think I even showered there or something. I can't remember. Or showered. I mean, like we're using hot water.
Okay.
Washed down.
So you're with this team.
Yeah.
What else are you doing then? Do you
So,
advance further in then? How does?
Yeah. So then we go out for running. We go out for runs in the morning. It's very icy. Slipped a few times, and I would like cut my knee and all that. And we stayed there just listening, talking. There's only like 6 of us, and then what happened is after a few days, then they said, okay, you guys you can go to the front line, and like I'm really excited.
Are you excited? Just there's still zero fear.
Zero fear.
Are your friends still with you?
Yeah, they're still with me. Okay.
Right. They're saying you front line. You're like, yes, I can go front line.
Yeah, we're like excited. We're like,
wow.
It's like we've made this. Let's go to the front. We have no clue what the front line is. And there's things that I saw later on because I went multiple times.
Are you like naive
in the
at
war.
this point? Is that a word to use?
No,
or?
I don't think I'm naive. I just think that I'm not I'm not that clever. I'm not that clued up to see what war is actually about.
Right.
And one of the things I say, like since I come back and all that, is like at this stage in my life, especially to the young generation, people see things. They see things about Gaza, or they see something. They want to want to go and people talking about war because like young people, they have this because of the movies they watch, right? They have this certain glory that war has like a glory. You're going to go.
Did you have that in your mind?
No, I didn't have that. No.
You didn't watch any Rambo movies or Commando? Do you know what I mean?
Not really, yeah, but no, I didn't have that in my mind. So I'm not sure what it was, but I didn't have that,
Right,
that
go on.
glory of
Sorry,
war or
saying
something.
to others, yeah.
And I say to them that war is not glorious. And I went to Bosnia multiple times, and war injuries that I saw, like when you're talking about an assault rifle bullet, some of those are meant to penetrate armor. It doesn't. I had in my mind that if you get shot by an assault rifle bullet,
Comes out the other end.
it'll come out and there'll just be like a hole there, and you'll be like a fracture. That's not what it does. It smashes your bone into pieces, and you have to have they have to put a frame, pins they have to put inside. I saw many of those injuries. They have to put frames inside your body, and the pins are sticking out. The frame pins of it are sticking out, and you stay like that for like about 6 months or something.
And this is with no anaesthetic, I presume, or
I think at that point, yeah. I mean, they had some anaesthetic. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure in the circumstances.
So you are front line here.
Yeah, so we go to this village now. We go to this village. We drive, and then from that point we have to go on foot, because they're Serb snipers and they have positions around this village. They're sending like artillery, and in the daytime they will snipe you. So we're having to literally jump from tree to tree. We're hiding behind the tree, and then one of us will go to the other tree, and then the others, and we're doing that. That's how we're walking into the village.
Right.
So we make it there, and it's
All of you make it to the village?
Yeah, all of us make it there. We have one guide, and there's 3 of us. There's about
There's 3 of you, you and your friends.
Yeah, me and my
Just you
2
three,
friends.
right,
Yeah.
right, go on.
So there's in that village, the population of that village is maybe 500 people, say maybe less, 300 people. But there's 50 fighters, about 50 of us, 40 or 50. All of them are foreigners from different parts of the world, Middle Eastern countries, some from Europe, some from like Muslims from South America, different. But
Yeah.
Some of these guys, like the commanders, are the ones that are veterans of the war in Afghanistan. So we're staying in this house, and we're just chilling out there. And the locals, they would cook some really nice food for us. And every day we're getting deliveries of food, because they like, the world has abandoned us, the UN has abandoned us,
But you
everyone
guys
has
haven't.
abandoned us. These lot have come here, they're not getting paid, they're volunteers. You know, the least we can do is
Look up,
cook
yeah.
for them. So we're living there, and because it's cold, you're just downing cups of sweet mint tea.
What are you eating in the mountains? Sorry, I didn't ask that before you come. What type of food is available in the cold mountains?
So where we were, I can't even remember.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it would just be bread, and
Okay,
I
fair
can't remember. Or sometimes the guys will cook some beans or tuna or something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, we have a stove and we have gas, and or not gas, but we have like there's some sort of stove thing.
Yeah.
So they're cooking there.
Right, sorry. So the locals are looking after you, right?
Yeah. So what happens then is that the front line is at the top of the mountain now. So this everywhere is snow now, and it's at the top of the mountain. That's the front line, and I think you'd like go for 3 days. You'd go up there, and then you stay there for 3 days. Then you come down. Then the next group will go up, and that's how they were. So we're holding that line to stop the Serbs from overrunning
Right.
that village. So we're like literally the front
The
line.
front line, yeah.
So it came.
And they're trying every day?
Sometimes they'll fire some artillery, or they would fire some like shots, like they'll try to snipe at someone. So it became our turn then, and a mistake I made when I was at the earlier place, before I was going to the front line, I had some really nice boots that I bought with me with like a grip. I exchanged those for a pair of local Yugoslav army boots, because they're a bit taller. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, so I've got these new Yugoslav army
Swapped
boots.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I left my good ones. So we're now going up this mountain. So there's about 20 of us going up this mountain. I've got my AK-47 rifle. I've got my four magazines. I'm wearing this like chest rig. I've got 4 magazines. I've got like 4 grenades.
How many bullets in like a magazine?
30.
Okay.
But you never fill 30. You always put like 29, because if you fill 30, sometimes it gets jammed and all that.
Okay.
So, and I've got my AK-47 rifle, and I've got like my bag. It's got like a sleeping bag and things like that on my back. And I'm going up this mountain, and I still don't have a clue what I'm going into. So I'm going up there now. I'm going up. It's snow. Suddenly, as I'm going up, after a few minutes, I start slipping. Okay, I go up a couple of steps, then I slip. Haha, funny, whatever. Then I go up another couple of steps, then I slip again. Then I slip again.
It's them boots, brother.
And I'm like, oh man, why did I leave those good boots?
Yeah.
And after a point, it's not a joke anymore. Then one of my friends, he carries my rifle. Then the other one carries my back.
Yeah.
And I'm literally on all fours. And I'm sweating by this point. So our commander was this French-Algerian guy. And I don't think he spoke Arabic, but he spoke French, and I did a little bit of French.
What is the
at
language
school.
that you are speaking, by the way? Is everyone...
Arabic.
Everyone speaks Arabic?
Arabic, and guys that don't speak Arabic is sort of like sign language. There's guys who speak some.
So where did you learn
English.
Arabic?
Just when I was in my teenage or when I was young, I just used to go to classes, weekly classes in my area. And
Okay.
I was just
Are
improvising.
you fluent, or is it just kind of words that?
I mean,
you can get you by-
now I'm fluent.
Yeah, but then,
at
you
that time, yeah, I think I could have a conversation.
Right,
I could
okay,
make
go on.
myself understood.
Right, sorry, go on. Right, so you're slipping and they're carrying your...
So this guy comes, our commander, young French Algerian guy, and he looked at me and he said to me in French, like, bro, do you want to go back? Because he's seeing me, I'm on all fours, and I've got sweat coming down my face.
I'd go back and change the boots, bro. I'd say, brother, come here, give me my boots.
But the boots were in that other, they're like an hour, couple of hours drive away. They're not just downstairs.
Long gone.
Yeah, long gone. And when he said that, I looked at him with like the look of someone who's been mighty offended.
Right.
I had this indignation. I looked into his eyes and I said in French, and I said to him, I said, jamais, which means never. Like, I was like thinking that I've come all this way.
Yeah,
I've gone through all of those hoops. And now because of some stupid like boots, I'm going to go back? Like, how dare you even suggest that to me? Do you want to go back?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to like turn my back now.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to turn my back on these people to whom I've come here to help. And I looked into his eyes and I just shook my head and I said, never. So then he smiled. He goes, okay. He said, I'll. Then he sort of helped me and I made it there, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Made it to the top. Top was an eventful 3 days we spent there. There was 3 of us in like a bunker, and we are now 200 meters away from the enemy. And you take 2 or 4 hour shifts. It's freezing cold. You take 2 or 4 hour shifts. You're standing there with your rifle, with the safety catch off, and you're just there. You're just standing there. And if you see a movement, whatever, if someone's coming, you're gonna shoot.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are like chilling out or resting, or they've made a little fire.
And it's inside the bunker, yeah.
Yeah, we've like dug. It has already been dug.
Yeah.
But we're like there, so that's under the ground, and we're at the top of a mountain. There's like 10 feet of snow. It's freezing cold, and you're like a couple 100 meters away from the enemy.
Wow. Anything happened then when?
Yeah. So 3 days, nothing really happened. Then we came back. A few days after that, then we went to do an attack on the Serb positions. So there was a few 100 meters away. The Serbs had taken, they had occupied a few houses, and we were basically going to go and attack those 3 houses. So we went. I think maybe 40 of us. We went there. We had a few like rocket-propelled grenades. It's called RPG. We had, I think we had about three of those, and we were in these trenches. And the instructions we were given was that the guys are going to fire the rockets first, and then after the rockets have been fired, then you open fire on the houses. So we go there, and those rockets are like they can burst your eardrums. So when you fire that rocket, you have to open your mouth. There's a certain way you have to open your mouth and you hold your breath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's loud. It's like, yeah, those things are like really loud. And you can't be behind it like 20 meters or so. In the war in Afghanistan, when the Afghan villagers, when they came across these rocket launchers that were left by the Russians, initially they didn't know what it was. They thought it's like a tea warming flask.
Right.
And they would like warm their tea in it. They would like get the thing and they would like put, like use it as cup holders or something. Then when they figured out, they were overjoyed. But they didn't know how that you're meant to put it on your shoulder because it has a backblast, and some of them fired it like that.
Oh wow!
So several people were killed.
Yeah.
Several people were killed because the backblast it will kill you. So anyway, so they fired these rockets, and then we start from the trenches. We come out of the trenches and we start firing at those houses. They then start firing back, and there's crossfire going on. If you're in I don't suggest, I hope no one ever is in a firefight, but if you're in a firefight if you're hearing crack, then that's from your side that is firing away. If you're hearing like a loud crack, it's more like a crack rather than a bang, I would say. But if you're hearing like a whiz, if you're hearing that, stick your head down because you're getting shot at.
Right.
So
it's mad how you're like, it's mad. This is crazy. Like, this is
yeah.
real.
As I said,
like, no, but the way you're saying it's like it's not real. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is real life.
I think the reason I'm smiling is I'm talking to you. I'm like, what the hell was that 18? If you were sitting here,
it's the realization of what the F.
If the 18-year-old me was sitting here, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you crazy or something?
Because this is out of a scene of a movie. This is that straight. So your advance is your first advance.
So we didn't really advance. We just stayed there. We were sort of like harassing them. And so what happens then? The guy next to me. So we're hearing this. We're hearing these. Then the guy next to me was one of my friends who came with me from England. Literally, the bullet landed in the trench. It just missed his head.
Right.
And the dust just next to him, sort of like the dust or snow, whatever. It just sort of like did that. It just literally, maybe it was a sniper or something. I'm not sure. One thing strange that I noticed in that encounter. So we're firing at them, and some of this crossfire was coming towards us, but a lot of it was going in the air. And you can see, because you can see their tracer rounds.
What's a tracer round?
A tracer round is basically it's a bullet which leads it gives off like a light, like a red light, for example.
And that's for others to follow, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. So let's say if we're in a position, you'll have one guy who will have the tracer, so he would know that that's the direction we're firing.
Right.
And
okay.
in the night, especially, you'll see it helps direct the fire, that direct fire there. They're firing in the air, in the sky. Now, we don't have any helicopters. We don't have any airplanes. They don't have any airplanes.
Yeah.
Why are they firing in the sky?
Right.
The answer to that, I'll tell you later, but the answer to that, I found out from a prisoner like 3 years later. He gave me the answer to
I want to know don't forget that. Okay.
Shall we break? Can we break?
You want to break?
Prayer,
okay,
yeah.
right, we're going to
Break
break and then we're going to come back, yeah?
Okay.
All right. Right, slight break, but we're back. We were right in the middle of this as well. So when you're advancing for the first time, I presume you don't have time to think about anything
No, so when we're firing and they're firing at us, I think at that moment, or maybe I can't remember if it was when I saw the bullet go
almost hit it,
yeah. I think that was like a wake-up call. It was like a realization, like, okay, like this is real now. This is real. I think at that point, I think I just found some strength.
Is that the first time that fear has entered your mind then? Or
for a slight
split second.
Yeah, for a split second, that one of these bullets, this is it now. Like, it could hit me. And but it was entered for a split second. Then from somewhere, I just found this like I don't know, this energy from somewhere. Because up to that point, I was sort of like, I think I finished all three of my, I can't remember, 3 or 4 magazines. I finished like 2 magazines, and I was sort of like, I wasn't really like, I was sort of keeping my head down a bit under that in that trench. But for the third one, I just found this energy, and I was like, I just didn't care. I just stuck my head up outside the trench, and and at that point, I just wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
I think that was I mean, sometimes as human beings, we have to feel fear. Fear protects you, but sometimes you need strength, and that strength, it comes from God. And I feel at that moment, that strength, it came to me.
Did you get the houses? Did you get the houses that you came for? We've got to ask.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
did. What do you mean?
I think we did. I mean, my thing was, because it's dark. It's pitch black.
Right.
Not totally pitch black, but you can see their fire, and you can see where the thing is coming from. But I think we did. Yeah, we didn't go there to check the damage or anything.
So after that, how many more times are you kind of doing this front line? So in situations similar to this, is this?
I think at that time, so there was the guard duty, and then there was this one particular skirmish on that particular visit. Then we came back to the village, And I remember as I was coming back to the village, I met some messenger that had just come in, and we walked up together. So then and apparently there'd been a massive battle outside Sarajevo. Sarajevo is the capital of Bosnia, and the Serbs had encircled it, and they were killing a lot of people. So for 8 months now, the Bosnians had been trying to break the siege of Sarajevo. So a lot of fierce fighting was there. And a battle had just taken place, and we had lost 6 people. 6 of our people had been killed. And so when I went back to the house, and I actually announced that to the guys, I said, hey, I just met this guy. And they said there's been a battle, and then 6 guys have been killed. And they asked what their names, and I told them what their names were. And they were really upset. Like, some of the people were really upset. They were crying because they'd lost their colleagues and all that. So it was around that time where I thought to myself, what am I doing at university? Like, I'm going to go back now to university and then...
Right. Okay. Are you thinking of home a lot when you're out there?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Not at
Family?
all. No. It's just the
Parents.
overload. Nothing.
This is your first time thinking of back home?
So at that time, the only time I'm thinking now is, should I pack in my studies and just stay here? And just somehow send a message to my parents or whatever that, look, I'm just staying here. This is too big. This is, and there were some people that had done that. So I was in 2 minds, and I was talking to people, and some people saying that, yeah, you could do something here, and some had already done it. So I spoke to one of the commanders there, and he was actually a medical doctor. And he was in one of the European countries, and he's an Arab guy, and he had come to Bosnia, and he was one of their commanders. And I spoke to him, soft-spoken man, gentleman, and he said to me, he said, look, what would you do here? He said, you just pick up a gun. He said, we got plenty of people to pick up guns here. He said, but smart guy like you, because if you went back, because you could tell people you could raise awareness about the situation, you could support us from outside. And you'd be more useful doing something like that. And, this war's going to go on for a while. He goes, go back to university and then raise awareness about what's happening.
Right.
So so I thought, okay, if that's what they, if that's what they feel is the best way I can support them, then that's what I'll do.
What about the people that you came with, the 2 friends?
Yeah, I think then they did. I think we all sort of decided that, okay, we came together. Let's go back together.
So how long was your entire time spent out there?
It's a few weeks, maybe less than a month.
Okay, you went out. You spent a month out there.
Yeah, something.
Okay,
like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so you come to the realization I could actually do better by coming back.
Well, it wasn't my realization, but I saw sense in what they said,
right?
And it made sense.
That was nice of that guy though, because you could have just said, "Listen, stay here."
Well, he's a wise guy who had, he was a wise man, and who had like foresight, and he had like, he just understood things.
Okay. So you return back to the UK?
Yeah, so I come back to the UK.
Okay, can I just ask, what's the UK stance on this war at that time?
So at this time, the UK, the US, and most of the international community, except Russia, they are on the side of the Bosnian Muslims. They are against the genocide. They are against the Serbs.
Okay.
Okay. So
hence, you are allowed to go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you come back, there's no repercussion.
And this is, again, we're talking about early 90s, and laws are different. You couldn't do that now. I couldn't do that now. You're not allowed to go and pick. It's not legal for you to go. And any young person watching this, getting ideas, it's not legal for you to go, according to the laws of this country, of the UK, to go and fight in another war zone. If you do it and you get caught, then you could be prosecuted and you could go to prison. Okay. So at that time, the laws were different.
But you're fighting on the UK side.
Yeah, the UK's on the same side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
So what happens then is, so I come back now, and now it's like I've been on another planet. And I've come back to Earth.
Right.
I go to my 9 o'clock lecture. I go back to university, and people are just talking about what they did or they did over the holidays. Some movie has come out, or some guys And obviously I'm dealing with my family, my friends. Obviously I'm telling them.
How is it seeing your
about-
family, parents?
Yeah, it was like, it's like I've been into a,
Like
I
surreal.
can't even say a different planet. Yeah, I've just been into a different, it's like I've been into a different world.
You can't even put it in words. Words
can't
don't
even put
even
it in
paint the
words.
picture, does it?
Okay, and now I've come back and I see people just like, guys walking down the street doing their shopping. People are like, and I'm like, guys, don't you know what's going on? Like just like now as we're talking, this what's going on. It's like surreal. There's like a cognitive dissonance where like there's two parallel worlds. It's happening right now. You got those guys in the mountains, and here people are just going shopping. Other people are going out to eat and everything. It was a really strange, like, I came back and I'm in a really strange, like, a state of mind. I'm talking to people. I started telling, people, my friends, my family, everything, what's happening there, and we need to do something, and it was, I think, every single night for the first 2 weeks that I came back, then I'm seeing Bosnia in my dreams, every single night. That's all I'm seeing, because the brain is just, there's too much to process. After 2 weeks, then I think the frequency of the dreams decreased a bit, became once every other day. And then that went on for a month, and eventually they sort of went down.
Well, what about this PTSD? Is that even a thing? Is that even a... do you know what I mean? Like now it's like a known thing. I don't even know then. Is that a thing? Did you suffer from it?
Interesting question. So I have suffered from PTSD. I still have symptoms of PTSD, but not from the war.
Okay.
Not from the war.
Okay.
And I think part of that, and later on we talk about prison in America, and I found there were prison officers who had served in Iraq and Afghanistan, American former like US Marines, and I'll talk to them when I was in America. I'll talk to them about PTSD, and PTSD is caused when something unexpected happens. So PTSD is a mental injury.
Right.
So for example, if you say I'm going to punch you in the arm, if you tell me that, I can brace.
Yes.
I'm expecting it.
Yes.
So, it's going to hurt less. But then if I'm just like doing something else and I'm relaxed and you go and punch me in the arm, it's going to hurt. So in the same way with PTSD, it's caused generally when you're not expecting something. In my case, I went to war, and when I was actually there, obviously I didn't know what I was expecting before I went, but when I was actually there and I saw people that had been injured and killed, I knew what I was signing up to. I knew that I'm going up there, there's a chance I could be shot, I could be killed. I'm fully there with what's happening. I'm fully prepared for what's happening. And also from our side, we didn't do any atrocities. We didn't go and like harm women and kids and we didn't do anything like that. Stuff that doesn't sit with your conscience, which is the sort of stuff that the American soldiers told me that they witnessed happened in Iraq, for example. So those are the sort of things that play on your conscience. Like I could sleep at night. The things I'm seeing in Bosnia is just about the war, but I'm not seeing, oh my God, I witnessed this happen and I witnessed that happen and I witnessed some cowering woman and, I didn't see anything like that. So PTSD I got from other stuff, but not from the actual war.
I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Did you take a life out there? So
war, it's not like Call of Duty, and it's not like the movies. Most often, especially in those the circumstance where I went to, which was like trench warfare, you would attack them or they would attack you, or a battle takes place. All of you are firing at them, they're all firing at you, and at the end you'll see some of yours are killed and some of theirs are killed. So you don't actually, there were times where like people would go and you'll see the enemy that you're seeing, and you shoot him and you'll see that. I didn't do that. That's not something I experienced. Did one of those bullets that I fired one at the trench, did it kill someone? I don't know, maybe
you don't know.
Or I wouldn't know, yeah.
I had to ask the question.
No, yeah.
I had to ask the question. Yeah. Okay, so you're here, you're trying to adjust back.
Yeah.
And then I suppose, do you do what the gentleman tells you to do in regards to...
I then basically became obsessed with Bosnia. And for the next 3 years till the end of the war, my body physically is in London. and I'm going to uni, and I'm doing the stuff, and I'm doing the things that normal people do, you know, like hanging out with friends or going out to eat, whatever. But my mind is there. I'm telling people about Bosnia.
Your friends are back with you as well, yeah?
Yeah, they came back as well. And I think they were from like different cities. They weren't from London. But I'm just by myself now. I'm at uni. I'm telling people about what happened in Bosnia. I'm collecting money. I'm raising a lot of awareness. I'm speaking to a lot of people and you know, telling people about what's happening there.
And by UK standards, that's all good.
Yeah, at that time, yeah, it's all good.
Put it,
Yeah. And so the war went on for another 3 years, and I went back a few more times, and I'm also helping to send humanitarian aid. I'm sending money to the fighters. I'm sending money for aid. I'm sending medicines.
When you're going back, are you going on the front line again?
So I'm going in both capacities. I'm going as I'm going both as an aid worker, and where the opportunity arises to fight, then I'm signed up for that as well.
Right.
So I'm doing like both things. I'll be taking like babies' clothes. I'll be taking medicines.
Right.
It's like a bit of both.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the war, which is now 95, and the war's been going on for 3 years now. So it's been like almost 3 years since my first visit. And that was the summer of 95, where the genocide at Srebrenica happened.
Right.
Srebrenica was a small, it's a small like town in eastern Bosnia, which the UN, the United Nations, had sort of declared it as a safe haven. And in the first couple of weeks, the first 2 weeks of July in 1995, the Serb forces, they overran that. And in those 2 weeks, they killed 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men, women, and children under the gazes of the Dutch United Nations peacekeepers. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, their president, he described this as Europe's worst massacre since the Holocaust, since the Second World War. And I think 8,372 is like the final count. Every year they still discover like body parts and bones and that day, and it's been like 30 odd years almost. So a few weeks after the Srebrenica massacre happened, maybe even days, I can't remember, but I heard that there's been this massive, I'm in London at that time, this massive massacre has taken place. Then I went back to Bosnia. And I'm there, and I met some people who had, at that time, the significance of how big this thing is had not dawned upon us.
Right.
Like now you see what's happening in Gaza, 40,000 people have been killed. It's big, but the strange thing about these things is you don't realize the significance of these things until sort of after it's over, and when you look back and think, wow, is that what actually happened? And because we're sort of seeing it and it's happening now, and it was like 10,000 dead, and then it's like 15,000, and it's sort of like a strange thing about, I don't know, but we won't know the significance of how big this thing actually is that's happening. So I got there and I heard that there's been a massive massacre that's taken place. Again, it's in line with what's been happening in Bosnia, and we didn't know the numbers or anything like that then. And I met some people that had some of the refugees that had come back from there, and they relayed some of the stories. They'd come back to the different cities, they'd walk back and they'd filtered out. Some of them had come to the different cities and they'd talk. So news was filtering through that something horrific has happened there. You're talking like a grandfather forced to eat the liver of his dead grandson. You're talking about a crying baby that has its throat slit because it won't stop crying. And in front of the UN peacekeepers are seeing this. That horrific things that you can't even, it's difficult even to, you're going to have to x-ray your thing to even relate these stories. So I was there, and there was some heavy fighting that took place there. And I was injured. There was a large battle that took place, and I was injured by an enemy hand grenade, and it struck me in several places. I don't know if you can see it. There's like one here. There's like a little round thing here. There's another one.
Right.
I think somewhere there. Oh, I should have brought it with me. You see that dot?
Yeah.
Okay, I should have brought the thing with me. I'll send you a photo of it. I've got it at home.
Okay.
This one bounced off. That's where my heart is. That one bounced off. So I was hit.
What, that red dot there?
That thing there. That thing.
Cameraman, where are you?
Okay.
I need this on this. Sorry. We
Okay.
need this. We need some zoom going. For the first time, we need a zoom happening. You know what I mean?
Can you see that?
It's just like a very small dot. Yeah. Right.
And when I get home, I'll send you a photo of something else.
Okay. You got that? Yeah, go on.
So I had a notebook.
Yeah.
I had a notebook about that big.
Right.
Sainsbury's. It still's got Sainsbury's written on it. It was in this pocket.
Yeah.
There's a hole through the corner of that notebook. I've still got that notebook.
Wow.
I'll send you a photo of it. I should have brought it.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll send you a photo of it.
Yeah.
I had a t-shirt. I think the t-shirt got lost or whatever. Then I had a t-shirt that had 2 holes in it with a bit of my blood. So that's where it came, and it came off. So this one it caused a skull fracture. This one caused a fracture. The others, I think there's one here. I think I don't know. There's a few pieces in my body. The funny thing was later on in prison, when I would before and after prison visit, you get wandered down and you get searched, and then
You find new places.
sometimes the beeps, they go off, and the guy's puzzled. He's like, I'm just in a t-shirt and tracksuit bottoms, and it keeps beeping, and he's like, and I'll just say to him, Gov, it's my iron will and my nerves of steel. He just laugh, and then he laugh it off, and he just let me go.
So this is a grenade, and this what the...
It's a hand grenade, yeah.
Wow.
It's a hand grenade, and there were several of us that it hit. So as we're about to overrun their position, we're meters away from them. The guy, he chucked a hand grenade, and then they ran, and so I was injured. That was at the start of that battle. Then I had to be evacuated by helicopter and brought back, and so I had a fracture here and a fracture here.
Okay.
That resolved. So the things are still in there.
And you stay there until you heal?
Well, yeah, I think I stayed for I can't remember, maybe another month or so after that.
Okay.
I stayed there for another month or so after that. I got a ride in a helicopter, which was good. I think it was my first time in a helicopter.
My first time in a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stayed for another month or so. Then I came back, and a few months after that, then the war finished. There was there's a peace agreement. And
how did you feel when kind of news broke that the war's over?
What's the next adventure? What's the next war zone? Where now? So at that point now,
really,
point now, I'm like, okay, now I know the script. Muslims, they were attacked in one place. I've gone there and I fought the people that are doing this. Where else is this happening? You
didn't take a second to just be great, it's over.
No. And then immediately after it, you're talking. And in fact, I mean, yeah, it was sort of I'm without a cause now. What am I going to do now?
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think, fine, I'm done my bit now.
No. And in some ways, they have this thing that in war they call it the survivor's guilt.
Right.
And so I had friends that were killed there. A story that I didn't tell you, that I didn't share, was about, remember I told you they were firing in the sky?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and why were they firing in the sky?
Tell me.
So after that battle where I was injured, then I was taken back to the city in hospital for treatment. And sometime after that, I met, there were some Serb prisoners of war that had been captured in that battle, and they were being held in a certain place, in some army place. And I went there to speak to them, and there was an interpreter with me. I said, I just want to ask them some questions. And there was about 10 guys. They're sitting in a room. They're not in handcuffs or anything. They're just sitting in a room. They're in army clothes. And I was just talking to them through the interpreter. Then I said, do you mind if I ask you a question? And I said that 3 years ago I took part in a skirmish against your forces, and you guys were, all your return fire was going in the sky, and we don't have planes, we don't have helicopters, and why are you firing in the sky? He said something in his language, and when he said it, the others looked at each other and they just mumbled oh yeah, like they weren't shocked or surprised by what that guy said. They weren't like, what? They weren't like, oh yeah. It was like that. They looked at each other, and then the interpreter looked at me. He goes, broken English. He goes, he see sky people. Sky people. So what do you mean sky people? He said, I don't know. He said that guys wearing white clothes and tall guys and with like swords, and they're coming and they are attacking us from the sky. That's why we're shooting at them. And we're scared of those people. We don't know who those people are. Multiple accounts of different captured Serb prisoners of war talking about this. And this isn't something I saw on TikTok. This is the conversation I had directly with that guy. And all of them were like in agreement about this. What is this? I mean, I heard these stories when during the war in Afghanistan against the Russians, against the Soviet Union, and we believe also religiously from the Quran that sometimes when the Muslims are oppressed, then Allah, He sends down angels to help and to fight on the side of the Muslims. And this is an account now that I heard from the enemy captured soldier, who's told me we didn't see any of these, but he's telling me, and all his people are in agreement, 10 of them, that that's what we saw. And there was so many accounts of this that, like, there's multiple accounts of this.
Brother. Even the cameraman just quiet. You can hear a pin drop in it. Wow.
Yeah, that's a direct conversation I had with the guy. I'm in the room. He's sitting there on the floor. He's got like a thick mustache. He's got like a sort of facial growth going here. A slight double chin. A portly guy, maybe in his 30s or so. Yeah, I can even picture the guys. I'm telling you, the guy who's told me this.
Wow.
Have this conversation with you.
Wow. Okay.
So I was saying that I had. I lost maybe 30 friends there.
Right.
Some of them were, one of them was one that I knew from the UK. And the others were ones that I sort of knew having gone there, and they were sort of like comrades in arms, you can say. So coming back, one of my things was to honor their legacies and to sort of continue the fight or the cause for which they gave their lives.
Right.
And that's the motivation, you see.
Okay, so you don't take a step back and say my work is done. You immediately think, right, on the next one. Okay, are your parents not getting involved now to say, listen?
I think, they know that horse has long bolted and he's gonna...
Your friends not saying, listen, you're doing too much. Any of this kind of...
No, I mean, so there's a group of friends now, there's a group of us now, there's a group of us now, and the mood is very much different because of what's been happening, and it's seen as something honourable.
Okay.
So
then, okay, your attention turns to then...
Chechnya.
Right, that war then starts.
So that has started it's already started, it's been about a year that war has been started. Chechnya is a Muslim province of the former Soviet Union, of Russia. Russia has invaded Chechnya.
Right.
And there's fierce fighting going on there, similar sort of stuff, there's gang raping going on, they've carpet bombed Grozny, they've killed tens of thousands of people.
Right.
And foreigners, a smaller group of foreigners have gone to Chechnya to fight to try and to help defend against
and
the
do
Russians.
You go?
So I go, yes.
You go?
Okay. Okay.
Are you allowed to go? What's the UK stance on this?
Again, the UK stance is they are against what Russia is doing in Chechnya.
Right.
Now, getting into Chechnya is very difficult. It's very hard, and it takes me a long time to get in there. I think maybe a couple
Who do you
of
go
months
with?
or something.
Group of people that
no,
you know?
I think I was by myself. Maybe one other guy I was with, not those two.
Okay.
But I think there's one other guy I met. And two of us, we made it in there.
So do you go straight after this?
Not straight after, a few
Bosnian
months
War?
after.
Okay.
Maybe 6 months has passed now. 6-7 months has gone.
Yeah.
I finished at university. I graduated.
You graduate.
And then
what did you get?
When I don't know, man. I just passed it.
Okay.
I was surprised that I even passed it.
You passed, yeah.
So when I'm supposed to be at my
what
graduation...
What did you study at uni, sorry? Aeronautical engineering, yeah.
So I graduate with a master's in aeronautical engineering. And
that's amazing.
Well, that's a miracle because I don't know how I did it because I barely attended university.
But that's okay.
So when I'm supposed to be at my graduation, then I'm in Chechnya. So that's what's
okay.
Like that's what's going on. So it was a long time to get in there. It was very difficult to get in there. And eventually I got in there, but by the time I got in there, the war had ended and a peace treaty had been signed.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got in there and I stayed some time working in like an orphanage, helping out in an orphanage. And I met some people who took part in the war. There was a guy there, a Saudi commander who's dead now, may Allah have mercy upon him. His name was Khattab. And this guy was the commander of the foreign fighters there. This guy was, he was brave. I think he fought the Russians in Afghanistan, he fought them in Tajikistan, he fought them in Chechnya. Eventually, I think he was poisoned to death in 2002. They sort of sent him a poison letter. It had
Anthrax,
polonium or one of those things, something like that, and he was killed by that. But I met this guy there. I met him, and I, got some stories from him and stuff. So anyway, I stayed there. There was no fighting. I didn't take part in any fighting there.
Are you happy though that it's done, or are you thinking, right, on to the next?
No.
How old are you now?
So I'm 22 now.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time I got hair long like you.
Come
okay?
on. Yeah.
So when your hair becomes long like that, maybe that's a call.
Brother, stop it. Don't even go there.
Yeah, well you can't do that now because it's illegal to do that now.
Exactly. I'm good. So just to clarify, it's legal to do what you're doing.
At that time.
Okay,
yeah,
but
96.
I want to reiterate that.
Now, do not do that.
Right.
Any young people watching this, we saw this guy and he went to, it's definitely not glamorous. And I got hurt, I had a skull fracture here and I got another fracture here. I saw some horrific injuries. One guy had a ball bearing like this stuck in his skull. You can actually see it. And he hadn't had a haircut since that injury, and he asked me to cut his hair with like a beard trimmer. And I remember doing that, and I'm like up close and I'm looking at and I'm getting all the blood that's stuck to his hair. And you can see this shiny, it's like a big shiny steel marble.
It's still in his head?
Yeah, still there, yeah. Right there, lodged in his in his skull. I don't know if it's sort of like a plug hole. If you were to pull it out, his brain fluid will come out.
So it has to just stay there?
Yeah, it has to just stay there, yeah. The stuff in me is in there. You don't take it out.
Yeah,
it becomes part of your bone or your body. Like if it's damaging you or causing bleeding, then you have to.
Yeah.
But generally, if you get shot by
so he's got a ball bearing just there.
Yeah, it's just right there. Yeah. Another guy, he was in a bunker that they'd taken it from the enemy, and he was in this enemy bunker. So what would happen is that when we would overrun their positions, the Serbs would run, then they would go back to a back position, and then they would shell us from there. They'll fire artillery. So that's a really dangerous period. Clearing the line isn't as dangerous, but then after that they start shelling you.
Yeah.
And these guys were in this bunker, and he even told me afterwards that he goes, I kept telling the guys, move out of the bunkers because they have the coordinates of their bunkers. Move out of their bunkers. They know where they are. They were in there, and a mortar round, 82mm mortar round landed right there inside that bunker. One guy was killed. One Yemeni guy was killed. And this guy was telling me this. He had pieces of shrapnel that went through his, I don't know the medical term, but his thigh bone. The bone. It went straight through the femur. I don't know what it's called. And it shattered the bones here and here. And he had a frame on his leg for about 6 months. You could see like the pins coming out. War is no joke. War is no joke. And I don't think I would have guts to go back into something like that. Seeing those injuries. If you get killed, you're lucky. If you get injured, I know I met people that have been paralyzed, been shot through the spine, paralyzed, blinded. A lot of people, they don't know, they think it's glamorous and it's like the movies, you're Rambo and you take over everyone. War is serious business, which has serious physical consequences for you, for your family, for your life. And in this country now, it has legal consequences as well. You don't get involved in something like that. If you get caught, expect to do some time in prison.
So you come back home?
Yes, I come back home, and now there's nothing else really happening. There's no other.
There's nothing happening. Are you not grateful?
In between that, before that, I've spent a long time trying to find other war zones or things that I can get involved in, but nothing's happening.
So just from a mindset point of view, you're fully immersed. Not to use the word brainwashed, but your brain is like, it's just only that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that.
I'm trying to understand the mindset of someone who's like almost addicted to it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
not addicted.
No, that's the wrong word, but
I'll say a large part. I am now. I'm fully immersed in this mindset that Muslims are under attack and we have to defend ourselves because nobody is going to defend us if we don't defend ourselves. That's the mindset.
Okay.
And it's not about we're thinking that, okay, right, this was happening. Let's go and blow up a nightclub. Let's go and we're not, this thing that they call terrorism is not about that. It's about face to face, man to man, soldier to soldier, leave the women, leave the kids, leave the schools and hospitals, leave all of that. I'm coming on the battlefield. You face me, I face you. You're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you. Let's sort it out. And the way war used to happen in traditional days. And now people have done it where they're attacking women, they're attacking children, they're attacking innocent people that haven't done anything, attacking places of worship, destroying trees, destroying like animals. Like that's not, that's not religiously correct. That's not ethically or morally correct in any way. Whoever does it.
Okay, so you're back here and you're kind of spreading the word. Then what are you doing?
So then at that point. So I think it was the end of 1996, 3 years before Google. Google doesn't exist.
Google don't exist?
Google don't exist, yeah. 1996, no such thing as Google.
But the Nokia phone exists, don't it? Snake exists, that game.
I think so.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are the little brick phones.
What's this, 1990 what?
96. End of 96.
Biggie Smalls does not exist. He passed away in 96, sorry.
Oh, yeah. The Tupac and Biggie. I heard that story in America.
Yeah. But anyway, go on. So you're back here.
So I'm back here, and then what I decide to do is, so I'm thinking, how do I honor the legacy of my friends that were killed in Bosnia?
Right.
What can I do? And the internet is a really new thing at that time.
It's new.
So then I decided to set up a website.
Okay.
And this website, so
and just to reiterate, Google does not exist. So this is like...
Yeah, this is early.
Is this like dial-a-phone internet ones?
Yes.
Okay. So that's like heavily to get online, you had to go through a phone line, and it made these noises.
Yeah, it dials
and then
up.
you connected to the internet. It weren't like your phone. I'm online. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to paint the picture for the youth. You see.
For the young people.
This TikTok youth is different.
They don't know, isn't it? They don't know there was
it's crazy how they think that was a million miles away, like a million years away. It really wasn't.
There's no smartphones that connects to the internet. You go inside your house, you got your big computer or your laptop. You have a device called a modem. You connect it to that. The modem sticks into your landline.
And then
you dial it. And then sometimes you get poor connection. And then you have to keep on trying or whatever. And, and you get like 14.4 kilobits per second. Compare that to speeds now, which are like 100 megabits per second. So you're talking like maybe, I don't know, 100 or 1,000, I don't know, whatever.
Someone do the math. Okay, cool. So you set up a website to just talk about the plight and
to tell the stories, the like biographies of the people that were killed. Hey, there was this prince, this was his name, this was his picture.
Right.
This what the guy did. And this was his character, and this is what motivated him, and he was killed, and
right.
So telling all of these stories, and so it's like it's got about 20-30 pages on that website. Most of them are like stories of people, friends, people that I knew. I wanted the world to know about these heroes. Because these people, they were heroes.
The heroes in a legal UK war.
Yes.
Right, we'll put that out there. We'll put this out there. Okay, cool.
And even ethically, morally, even now at that time, for what they did, like now they would be called, they wouldn't, I think even now they wouldn't be called terrorists. But at that point in time, the website is legal. The people that have been killed are on the side of the UK or the US or the international community. They're on the side of the UN.
That's no different to a UK soldier serving in World War II in regards to the way they're seen.
Yeah, or like people that went to fight, like in Spain, they went to fight, dictators.
I'm going to clarify that because
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You set up the website, and then I'm
So-
getting something else happens, right? Talk
Yeah,
to
so,
me.
so then what happens is that then a couple of years later, so by now, I mean, I'd finished from uni, and by now I'm just working. I've just got a normal office job, so I go to work, and this I'm doing in my spare time. Then in '99, another massive war begins in Chechnya,
Same place.
the same place
you went to, right.
that I went to. And then, you know, with the help of some friends, then we set up this news site to provide daily news updates on
What's
what
happening?
the rebels who are fighting the Russian forces and what's happening there from the insurgents.
The UK stance on this war?
Again, same thing. They're
Same thing.
Against the genocide. They're against the Russians.
Legal.
And, it's sort of like what's happening in Ukraine now.
Yep, yep.
So imagine Ukraine, but this is happening now in '99.
Okay.
So this website now is providing daily news updates, and a news update would be so and so, you know, Chechen fighters. They
and you're in charge of this website.
I set it up, but now we've got volunteers that are
Okay,
helping.
cool.
So on a day-to-day basis, I'm not really sort of, you know,
Right, yeah.
running it myself, but you know, we got other volunteers, faceless volunteers.
Sure.
That we got. Some of them are in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Eventually, this site grows until it's like I can't remember how many languages. 18 languages now.
Okay.
And they're providing daily news on what's happening in the war in Chechnya.
Is that news coming to you and you're putting it out there, or they got access to put the news on there?
No, so I think we're getting it. It's coming. Some of it we're getting it directly, and some of it is coming onto one particular website, and we're translating it. We got a number of translators, and then we help them set up
And
sites.
you can't
It's
just
like an
put it in
independent-
Google Translate. It doesn't exist.
No. We got manual translators.
Manual translators. Okay.
Yeah. So you got someone who's like a French-speaking person, who's like, it could be like a housewife, and she sees this little news report thing. She'll translate it, type it up, and she'll put it on a French version of the
Cool.
website.
Cool.
So this is going on, and it's getting a lot of traction. It's I think media sources are quoting it as well.
Is this just news, or are you actually saying to people if you want to go out and fight, etc., etc.?
Okay, so it's news. Primarily, it's news. There's some other articles on there as well. We definitely aren't taking any money or any donations. So the website is not being used to take donations. It's not telling people how to go there. So we would get emails, I want to go and fight there, what do we do? And as far as we're concerned, that could be someone trying to, like a mole trying to entrap us or something. So the standard response is, sorry, we're just a news website,
Okay.
and we don't encourage anyone to go there
Right, sure.
to fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing with money. You know, sometimes people would send money, goes, here's a $50 donation that can you send it to like the fighters that are fighting there? We just send it back. So that's not.
Why are you not taking the donations? Because I guess
first of all,
you could help then, because that's what you were.
no, but first of all, it's we're not sure about the legal position.
Right.
We're not sure about the legal position.
But previously it's been okay. When when
We-
you've taken donation or you were
Yes,
giving.
that's when so as a person, while I was collecting myself, from
Right.
friends and what stuff, it was okay. But now it's a bit different because it's a website.
It's internet money.
It's public, and
You
you're not
just-
sure who you're dealing with.
Right. Okay. Fair
This
enough.
isn't like you know, a friend of mine just giving me like £100.
No, but
and sending it to
some
those
people may see it as money is money, and we need money. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not what we're about.
Yeah, that's
Our
fine.
thing was, you know, let someone else do the money bit.
Yeah.
We're just
We're
gonna
just
raise
going to
the
be.
awareness.
I'm just going to do news.
And we were aware that someone might be trying to entrap us
Right.
as well.
Are you trying to get out there yourself?
No.
Okay, so how has your mindset now changed from someone who was looking for places to
It's
go?
like I
has
can
now
be, I
pleased
can
it?
be more useful. You know, I can do more.
Okay.
I can be more useful.
Is that with
where I
age
am.
then maybe the kind of
Experience, I would say. I mean,
Experience.
I'm not that much older, so by then I'm like 24, 25 now. So I've now been in the game for about 7 years.
you're a
So-
veteran.
Well, it's sort of, but
But
at that
again,
point,
it's interesting that someone with your experience, you would, and the way you were thinking is like,
Yeah.
let me go out there now. I could be. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm
No,
just
now
curious
it's
as to
like-
why your mindset has changed.
because
now.
I can be more useful. What am I going to do there?
Right.
Pick up a gun and just sit and wait. And they got plenty of people there. They don't need people there, but they need people to find out what's happening. They need
Yeah,
public
okay, that's
opinion.
fine. Yeah.
But we organize demonstrations, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that we
Sure.
did.
So you do all that.
So that continues. 99, 2000, 2001, then the world changes. 11th of September 2001.
Okay, 9/11 happens.
9/11 happens. And for the young people who don't know what 9/11 is where 19 Muslim hijackers, they hijacked 4 planes in the US. 2 of them, they flew into the World Trade Center towers. One was flown into the Pentagon, and the other one, the passengers came here and they
Right.
you know.
Is that war still happening in
Chechnya is still going on.
Chechnya war still happening?
Yeah, Chechnya is still
You're
going on.
promoting the UK stance is to help the Chechnyans.
Yes.
But now the 9/11 happens.
So now 9/11 happens,
Right.
and 3,000 Americans are killed. And all of a sudden now, understandably, the mood in the whole world changes now.
Right.
Our website now, we start getting loads of hate mail, death threats, emails where people are saying, you lot are terrorists.
Right.
And they're cursing, Allah, they're cursing like our religion, they're cursing the Prophet, and they're saying, you lot did this, you lot did this.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's helping the people, the Chechens, defend themselves against Russians?
Right.
Well, and on a battlefield,
Yeah.
soldier to soldier? Where are you making this link now between these guys
Okay.
that have, in the name of jihad, have now gone and done this and killed like 3,000 ordinary
Right.
people that weren't in a war zone or battlefield? Or
Right.
anything.
Right.
So we're getting a lot of flack. A month later, then the US invades Afghanistan.
Yes.
Go on.
Does the Taliban exist at this moment?
Yeah, so the Taliban has been in power since 1996, and they are in power at that time in 2001.
Okay. Are they in Chechnya as well at this point?
No, they're not in Chechnya. No.
Okay,
they're
that's a separate-
in
I'm just trying to-
Afghanistan. Yeah, they're just a group of people there.
Right. Cool.
So the US, they invade Afghanistan in October 2001, a month after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so within the first week, they kill like 10,000 civilians or something. They kill 3 times more
Right.
civilians
Now,
than what were killed in America.
what's your stance now then? Because you want to help the Muslims. That's your stance. How do you see this then?
Okay, so what's happened on 9/11 is wrong.
Yeah.
Muslims clearly have done it, but that's wrong because, my understanding is that as a Muslim, when you take up arms, you can't attack innocent people.
Right.
So that's pretty clear for me. So now a month later, now a war in Afghanistan has started. So,
Which is backed by the British.
well, now this time, now they're on the other side now.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
The US
yeah.
and the UK
exactly.
now
So I just want to make that
are
clear.
on the side now. They are against the Taliban.
Right. But is the Chechen war still happening?
That's still happening.
Right. So you can go to Chechnya and fight and help the Muslims. Right. I'm trying to get this right. But
Yeah.
you can't go to Afghanistan
No.
and help those Muslims.
No, you can't
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
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 So anyway, so same thing at that moment. Then we think, okay, let's start giving daily news of what's happening in Afghanistan. So
Right.
what we were doing in Chechnya, let's start doing that about Afghanistan.
Right.
We start doing that. We do that for about 6, 7, 8, 9 months, but it's really difficult because the sites, no one wants to host the websites. They keep getting shut down. They're either getting hacked or they're getting shut down.
Yeah.
So we're moving from place to place. We go to one place and then they'll get all these complaints that,
Yeah.
these lot are like, they're talking about this and that and the other, even though it's legal content. And after about 6, 7 months, it was like, it's just not worth it.
Right.
Like the world has gone crazy, things are different and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So at that point, we just shut down the website, 2002.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. The Chechen war still happening?
That's still happening, but now there's no more website.
There's no more website.
Everything, we've just shut everything
Okay,
down.
cool then. So what do you do then?
Just try and live a normal life or just to see what the hell's happening. At that time, I think people have started going to Guantanamo Bay. So
Okay,
they've
people
captured
from the UK?
Some of them. So people they've captured. And some of these are people that I knew,
Okay.
that I met in Bosnia. So it's sort of personal. So now sort of like the new
What's
cause.
why are they being taken to Guantanamo Bay?
So they were found in Pakistan or Afghanistan.
Right, fighting.
Not even fighting. Most of them weren't fighting. Some of them were fighters. Some of them were caught, like, fighters as firearms. A lot of them were just like in the wrong place at the wrong time. They had gone, before 9/11 happened, they had gone to Afghanistan. They had gone to build a life there. They thought, okay, this is going to be like a safe sanctuary, it's a new developing Muslim country. Let's go there. Some went for business. Some went there for like community relief work. Then they caught up in this. They tried to run and they caught at the borders. There was a bounty, $5,000. If you catch any foreigner, you just ring this number and you'll get $5,000. So they're selling, it's like an open market.
Right.
So these guys, they capture them and they send them to Guantanamo Bay. So that becomes my new cause. That, okay, let's do something about these prisoners, these people that have been caught.
Okay.
There. And because it's personal for me, because I know...
You know them.
I know some of them I know.
You want them to be released from Guantanamo Bay?
Or to be put on trial.
Right.
If they've done something wrong, put them on trial. But
Right.
how are you holding them without trial?
Sure.
And in the conditions that they're treating them and all that.
And then obviously news or stories are being told about the way prisoners are being treated in Guantanamo
you're
Bay.
seeing the photos and they're being hog-tied positions and
tortured
in like these headphones and stuff.
Yeah.
And said like
stress positions.
Headphones, stress positions, blindfolds.
Yeah.
So that happens. That's 2002, 2003. That's all I'm doing now, just going to work, coming home, coming back. Then at the end of 2003, 2nd of December 2003, it's a Tuesday, I go to sleep and I'm living in a house in Tooting with my wife. We don't have any kids. And we're in the upstairs bedroom. And I've set my alarm to get up for prayer about 6 o'clock, something like that. 6, I can't remember. It's like, so I'm fast asleep and I'm woken up by this massive crash that sort of into the house. And I wake up and I'm like, what the hell was that? And I think maybe like a car has crashed into the front of the house. So I get out and I run to the curtain. I run to the window and I look outside and I see there's like a column of like riot police. They all got their helmets on. There's like about 12 of them in a line outside my door. And because obviously, my wife, she's not like dressed and then I say to her that, police are here, get up, police are here. So within minutes, they've broken the door down. And they start, they enter the house, they start running up the stairs and shouting, police, 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 whatever. So at that time, I've just woken up from dream sleep. So at that moment, in my mind, it's going on, maybe they've got the wrong house. This could be some drugs raid, or maybe they've made a mistake or something like that, because something like that happened to me, previously, I think a year before that. I thought maybe they've got the wrong house, I'll just explain to the officers when they come and that whatever and okay, it's not nice being woken up like the heart still racing,
but you still think like I'm innocent, I've done nothing.
I've got work at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. So as they're coming up and get down, they come up the stairs, they got torches. So I just stand like this, just to show them that whatever, like okay. They obviously don't know. In my mind, they don't know what they do. They don't know who's who.
Yeah, of course.
I need to show them I'm not a threat to you.
Yeah.
Put my hands up like this. So they come in and they're shouting swear words and everything. They one of them gets me, then puts me in a bent over position, and my arms are behind my back, and I'm like, my head is sort of bent forward. He takes me to the window. It's like there's curtains over the window, and he smashes my head, like this part of my head, he smashes it into the window, which has like a curtain on it. Later on, I found out that smashed that actually smashed the glass.
Right.
The force with which he did it. After he does that, he he sort of sarcastically says to me, "Goes, so this one's the tough nut, is he?" And at that time, remember, I've woken up from dream sleep. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Like, is this a nightmare or something? He then puts me face down on the floor, and by that time, there's like several officers all around me. Puts me on the floor, and then several officers, they start battering me. Okay, one of them is like punching my head repeatedly. Okay, and like my head's on this side and punching my ears, face, head, everything. Another one's punching my back. Another one is punching my thighs, my legs. Another one puts his hand in between my legs. He grabs my private parts and he like pulls. At some point, I think within seconds, they stick cuffs on me. And I'm like, yeah, they put cuffs on me and they continue to batter me. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I think I can hear like my wife is like screaming or stop it or leave me alone.
Do they attack her?
Like that. They don't attack. I mean, later on I found out that a couple of women police officers had like taken her into another room. So obviously I'm face down. All these officers are surrounding me and they're battering me from all sides. And still, I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm awake now.
Fully
Okay?
awake. Yeah.
So I'm fully awake. And so what happens then is then they stand me up, and I'm cuffed to the back, and they're like a senior officer or someone. He comes. He said, "Can you confirm your name?" I say, "Babar Ahmad." And he goes, "And your date of birth?" And I tell him my date of birth. So he goes, "You're being arrested on the commission, preparation and instigation of terrorism or acts of terrorism, and you don't have to say anything, but if you say anything, it can be used against you," or blah, 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 blah. So up to that point, I could have been the wrong guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I could have been the wrong person.
Yeah.
And this wrong person has just been battered.
Yeah.
But I was the right person. You know, it was nice
They
of
were
them
looking
to check.
for you. You were wrong person, but right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so so then what happens is that they twist me over, and I remember something about the handcuffs. Is they got these type of cuffs called quick cuffs, and quick cuffs are cuffs. They're called pain compliance handcuffs. They have a bar in the middle, so it's not a chain. It's a bar.
Yeah.
It's designed for one officer to control a suspect by himself. Because what happens, you got these, you know, you can hold it like this, or they can put it on like this, or behind. So me is behind my back. And you're meant to put it on below the thumb of that thumb bone of the wrist. You're meant to put it handcuffs. That's what they call handcuffs. They're meant to be put on down here. So he's left mine loose. For some reason, he's left mine really loose, and I got thin arms. I still had thin arms. And he's now twisting those, and every time he twists those, it's like the pain is like someone has stuck a needle into my eye. That is the pain. And I start screaming like an animal. Okay, it's like fire. It's like he's touching. There's so much pain. So it's been now in December it's going to be 21 years since that incident. I've still got the scars to it. You know, you can still see these are scars. That's how deep it went in. I had scars all the way up to here. He's pulling it all the way up to here.
Right.
They're stamping on my they're stamping on my feet. They're kneeing me, you know, hitting me. They take me downstairs to the room, and because we Muslim households, we pray on the carpet, we sit on the carpet, we eat on the carpet, we chill out on the carpet, so shoes are outside. And there's line of shoes outside, so before they come in, they say, you know, they start mocking the fact that they're allowed to wear shoes. You know, we're allowed to wear shoes there. I got my shoes on, I'm wearing my shoes, haha. And they're like laughing, joking. They smash up the room, put me in the corner of the room in position that Muslims pray in. So I'm down in prostration position, handcuffs to the back. They start making fun of the prayer. You know, you're in prayer now, where's your God now? Pray to him. And they're laughing and chuckling and all that. And then they take me out into the van, stamping on my feet. They put me in the van, multiple punches to my back and kidneys. I'm face down on the floor. 3 police officers are in the back with me. the van drives off at high speed. It's sort of like a minibus, and I'm on the floor of this. At some point, the guy there's an officer who's near my head, and later in the case it was revealed, his name and all that was revealed. He's towards my head, and he takes a notebook out and he says that, where were you born? And I said to him, London. He closes his book, he comes around, he punches me on my head. He goes, which hospital you effing be? Then I told him the name of the hospital. I mean, he just had to ask. He didn't have to punch me. A few minutes later, meanwhile, that guy is torturing me with those handcuffs, and I'm screaming like an animal. These screams are coming out like he's just twisting those cuffs. He's got his boots on my... He's got 1 foot on my ankle, 1 foot on my knees. He's pushing them against the steel legs of the police van. And he's holding the cuffs. So he's twisting those cuffs, and then when I'm screaming, then he'll say stop screaming, and then he'll do it again. He's the pain of that, it's like fire. It's like someone is burning my skin here. I had some nerve damage. I think even now I still have some pain because of that. So while this is going on, the guy near my head, then he comes around and he gets me into a rear neck chokehold. He comes back, he puts me into a rear neck chokehold.
This is in the van, it's all in the van?
Yeah, so I'm handcuffed, face down, and I got my knees and ankles restrained by that guy at the back. This guy then comes round, straddles me, and he puts me into a rear neck chokehold, and then he holds that position. And I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? Then after a few seconds, he lets go. He goes back and sits in his place. Then a few minutes, then the screaming and all that goes on. Then a few minutes later, the guy comes back and gets me into a rear neck chokehold again. So I figured out, okay, I just need to ride this out. He's gonna
keep doing it.
As in, he's gonna do it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. I just need to relax. He's gonna do it for a few moments. Then he's gonna let go. He then he comes and he gets me into that thing, a tight chokehold, and my head is like in his I think it's in the crook of his arm. I can't remember. And okay, he's holding. I'm thinking, okay, now he's gonna release it. Now he's gonna release it. Now he's gonna release it. But he doesn't release it. I'm thinking, okay, now he's gonna release it. Now he's gonna release it. And then I start panicking. Then at some point, the realization comes to me that this guy's gonna kill me. I'm gonna die here in the back of this van. This is it. This is where my life ends. And I can't even say the Islamic declaration of faith, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, which you say before you die. I can't even say that. And I'm like in a panicking state. I mean, I don't know what someone who's drowning, what they go through. I can't even move. I can't even bring my hands because my hands are in cuffs. And my feet are restrained, and I got this guy, and I can't do anything. Then at some point, I don't know how long it was. I think I can't remember. I said 15, 20, 25 seconds. I have no clue. It was like a lifetime. Eventually, he lets go, and he was holding it with such strength that even he was panting. He let go eventually, and he said to me, he said, "You're going to remember this day for the rest of your life, you effing B." He said that to me. I think if he hadn't have said those words, maybe his destiny might have been different, because when he said that, I just had this like a promise to myself, or like a conviction or something, that even if it took me 100 years, and even if it was me and then my children, then my grandchildren, and even if it took generations, I'm gonna make him remember this day for the rest of his life. And I'm still in cuffs. I'm still.
Can you see their faces, or are they all?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm face down. I can't. It's dark. I can't see their faces or anything.
Right.
Eventually, at some point, I don't know, maybe half an hour later or something, we arrive at Charing Cross Police Station, which is a police station just next to Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
We turn up at Charing Cross Police Station, and there's like a little cage area before you go into the custody area, and they stamp on my feet as well. There's actually CCTV footage of me screaming. You can hear my screams because they're twisting the cuffs and I scream out.
Right.
They bring me into the custody.
Is that the first bit of footage that is available? Like they don't have cameras on them, do they? Like
no, they didn't. No. I think after my thing, they said that we're gonna make sure that Met Police, they all wear body cameras.
Right.
It still took a few years after that. After my case, they did that. Anyway, so I went in and there's a custody sergeant is there. They take my handcuffs off, and I see. And later on, that custody sergeant was a decent man. He gave a statement saying that in my 35 years, whatever it was, as a police officer, I've never seen handcuff injuries that bad.
Right.
He goes, he had deep cuts in the wheels all the way up his arms. I had them all the way up to here. And it was swollen, and I was just like, I had like lost numbness. Then at that point, the officers, they'd taken the visor off, and I could see their faces, and I looked at them, and I remembered their
badge numbers.
Yeah, I remember I made a note of their badge numbers. Anyway, so I spent 7 days in custody. I was questioned about, okay, so on such and such date, I've got a receipt here of a hotel in Birmingham. Why did you go to Birmingham? Who did? My lawyer just told me, just say no comment. Why did you go to Birmingham? No comment. Who did you meet in Birmingham? No comment. Did you go there to scout any targets? No comment. Did you, whatever. So it's not like something's happened or I'm done. I've done something. They've gone through stuff that they've taken from my house.
And what was their reason for coming in the first place?
I don't know.
Even now, you don't know?
Well, later on I found out. Well,
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I think later on it found out, they said that, that somehow, there was me and 3 other guys that were arrested, that these guys are involved they're involved in terrorism.
Okay.
What is terrorism? They didn't even really know. So the police officers questioning me, they don't really know.
Right.
They're just questioning me about stuff that's been found in my house, receipts, books.
Yeah.
They don't, so for 7 days I'm kept there.
We're in that Charing Cross prison.
In Charing Cross police station. And I am, so I'm examined by a doctor who finds that I have 73 physical injuries from head to toe, including bleeding in my ears, and I'm bleeding in my urine as well.
Right.
I've got massive bruises all over my face, my head, massive bruises where they need me on my thigh. I've got they've stamped on my feet. I'm struggling to like walk. I'm in a real. They put me on a 15-minute check where every 15 minutes
They've got to check.
he opens the wicket and he has to wake me up because he needs to see living, breathing flesh because they're concerned something might happen to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, 7 days they questioned me, and after 7 days I'm released without charge. They said there's going to be no charges against you.
Wow.
I then make a complaint to the police over the assault, how I've been treated. The Muslim community by that point in London, news has got around and they are on fire. People are really angry. They've heard what's happened to me and they are on fire. So anyway, so I give some anonymous interviews to the press, to the BBC, and
Anonymous, what do you mean?
Anonymous means they don't disclose my identity and they don't show my face.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that
So-
your call or theirs? Or is it...
My call.
Okay.
My call. So
Can I ask why you didn't want to show your face?
I've got a life. I've got a normal life.
Okay,
I've got
sure.
no one knows me. I mean, not everyone knows
But have
me,
you got
but at
facial
that
injuries
point-
to show? Or
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay, but
I didn't show those. I
Well,
mean, they just saw the handcuff injuries.
Okay.
I think that came on the clip. So I'm now really badly injured. I come home. I get. I think my work, they were really good, and they said take as much time as you like on full pay, and so I'm now going to hospital. I'm getting, things and all that. Getting myself checked out, X-rays. Then it's the beginnings of PTSD. Takes time to sort of emerge.
kick in? Yeah.
I'm feeling really nervous to go out. I'm hypervigilant. Every noise I hear, I think maybe it's the police or maybe that they're back. I'm finding it difficult to sleep.
And this is the police that people are meant to feel safe around, get safety from.
I wanted to be a police officer when I was a kid. I used to have a police hat.
Okay.
I used to have a police hat. I wanted to be a police officer when I was a kid.
Right.
And I think what caused me the PTSD was because I wasn't expecting them to treat me like that. Even if they were arrested, I did not expect them to treat me like that.
Yeah.
So, so basically I'm like hyper vigilant. I'm like paranoid. I'm like, you know, really like withdrawn. I'm like,
you angry
really,
you angry at the police?
Not at that point.
Angry. I'd
not
be
at that
very
point.
angry.
The anger came later, but at that point, no.
Okay.
At that point, I'm sort of like overwhelmed and what's happening and all that. So I take 2 months off work.
Yeah.
I have PTSD now. I've been formally diagnosed with PTSD. Because of the attention this case has got now through community figures, and it's come in the newspapers and press, it's got a lot of publicity. The police are investigating it. They're taking it seriously. They take statements from me. They come and they you know, they're sort of taking it seriously. Then about 8 months goes by. So after about 2 months, I took 2 months off work. I went back and I began to, I took 2 months off work. Then I got back to work. I was just feeling frustrated being at home, even though I wasn't fully recovered. And I'm just starting to build my life again after that. Started to build up, like I'm still in jail and going back to work. Then August 2004, 5th of August 2004, it's a Thursday. I'm working at Imperial College, the same place where I went to university. I'm working there, got like an admin job there. So I'm on my way back home, and next to Imperial College is a subway, which is where the Science Museum is, next to the Science Museum entrance. I'm just about to go down there, and a policewoman comes up to me and she goes, "Sir, could you confirm your name?" And I tell her my name. And then she holds my hand, and she goes, "Yonder." Then all of a sudden, there's like several plainclothes police officers come from nowhere. One of them like filming, like a guy. One of them's in shorts, for example, shorts and t-shirt. And
can I just stop right there? You know, you sued the police. You won that though, didn't you?
Yes.
And they had to give you a large payout, right?
Yes.
Is this all before this?
No. That happens afterwards.
Okay, sorry. I thought
so. That case is still ongoing.
Right.
That case is still ongoing. You probably want to chop that bit off because it will give.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Anyway, so what happens then is that they. So the guy, the arresting officer.
The female.
No, she's gone now. The plainclothes guy.
Right.
Now. Because they sent the female uniformed officer, because if they sent a plainclothes guy, I might like, who the hell are you? Whatever.
Yeah.
I think someone's trying to attack me. But obviously, to a police officer, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So they say to me that anyway. So he said, "This is why you're being arrested. You're being arrested." He says to me, on an extradition request from the United States of America, because from such and such date to such and such date, you ran a number of websites that basically were involved in raising money for terrorism or supporting or engaged in terrorism.
Right. But the website's not active, is it?
No, the website's been shut down 2 years now.
Right.
Okay. Now, the first question for me is, America?
Yeah.
What's America got to do with it?
Yeah.
I lived my whole life in the UK.
I've never been in America, yeah.
Okay, I went once to America for about a week or something. Never lived in America, never worked in America.
Right.
What's America got to do with it?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to be charged with something, it'll be the laws of my country. What's America got to? I'm at that point, I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at their faces. Then they take me into this minibus and they take me to Paddington. They drive through Hyde Park, take me to Paddington Green Police Station. I'm just quiet. And the guy is saying to me, "Mr. Ahmad, do you understand what's going on here?" I said, "No, I don't actually." He goes, "It's not the UK authorities that are arresting you. It's not us or the UK police that are arresting you. The US wants you and they've requested your extradition.
Wow.
So we're just holding you on their behalf." And I'm like, this isn't happening. So they take me to Paddington Green Police Station, and I tell them, okay, I want this solicitor to represent me, and then she comes, the same one that represented me back in December. Then she comes to see me a couple of hours later. She says, you've been arrested under this new law, which is the new treaty, the UK-US extradition treaty, where the amount of evidence required for the US to seek your extradition is the same as the amount of evidence a police officer walking down the street needs to say that I want to search you for like weapons, for example.
Okay.
It's called reasonable suspicion. Previously, if the US wanted a criminal from the UK, they had to prove the case in court.
Right.
They had to say that there is a probable cause.
And then, yeah.
Okay, and then the courts would allow the extradition. But this new treaty that they sent in was, there's no such, it's just the law, it just requires a witness
How
statement.
old is this treaty?
Like 6 months
Okay.
at the time that I'm being arrested.
Right.
January the 1st, 2004, so 8 months old. And I think I was maybe like the second, or I can't remember, second or third, one of the first few people that have been arrested under this treaty.
Yeah.
And they have come and they've said that, okay, we're holding you on behalf of the US, and all it needs is one US official just to give a witness statement. That's it. They don't have to show any evidence
Right.
that I've done anything.
Okay.
She said, and she said to me, she said, under this new law, she goes, we will have to fight it all the way to the European court. It's going to take 6 to 8 years. And
What, she said it there and then?
She said it there and
Day
then.
one.
Not even day one, like hour one, hour two, hour one maybe. She got there within the hour.
Who's this, your lawyer?
Yeah. Because I think she was representing another client.
6 to 8 years.
She said it would take 6 to 8 years. While we fight this, you will be refused bail. And I'm like, this isn't happening. This is not happening.
Yeah.
And this is my lawyer telling me this.
In the
okay?
first hour.
In the first hour.
Right.
I'm like, this isn't. I'm like, no, this ain't happening. And so anyway, so the next morning, so I spent a very difficult night in the police station, and the reason I'm sort of comfortable talking about it, because I've gone through extensive therapy.
I was going to say, you seem very comfortable talking about
Yeah.
all of this.
I have gone through extensive, since I came home from prison in 2015, I've had over 100 hours of therapy. There's a type of therapy called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is like known as the moving dot therapy, a very powerful form of therapy.
Right.
Where it reprograms your brain.
Oh, really?
I've had that, and I've gone through a lot of these things, so that's why I'm able to comfortably talk about it. Whereas
Okay,
before,
yeah.
I'll be talking to you and I'll be like,
And I will say, if you're not
all
comfortable,
of
just
that.
stop.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, I'm
Please.
comfortable
I'm not
talking
here
about
to,
it.
you know. Okay, so you're in that.
So what happens then is, anyway, I spend a very difficult night in the police station. Next morning, I go to Bow Street Magistrates Court for my first court appearance. Armed police everywhere, media everywhere. And that judge is looking at me like he's got so much anger. I mean, first when I went there, I thought that the armed police are there to protect the judge from me.
Right.
But later on, when I saw the way this bro is looking at me, I figured out that maybe they are there to protect me against him.
Right.
He was angry, like I'd like murdered his kids or something. He's
Right.
looking at me with so much anger. District Judge Christopher Pratt, his name was. I still remember his name.
Right.
He died a year after that of brain cancer or something. Anyway, so
I won't say anything about his surname.
so
Go on.
yeah. So anyway, so this little hearing takes place. The Crown Prosecution Service lady, she stands up and she tells the judge, this is what this man did. He did this, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did that.
What did you do? Website?
He set up these websites
Promoting-
that promoted holy war. And then they talked about some some battleship plans document or whatever, that he was found with some battleship plan document.
You was found in your house?
Yeah, they said that we found some US Navy battleship plans. So they're saying all of this stuff, Empire State Building brochure, like maybe there's going to be an attack there or something. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
So all of this stuff she's like saying, but my lawyers aren't allowed to rebut it. They're not allowed to say to the judge, actually, what they're talking about, these are just allegations,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
where's
yeah.
the evidence? They're not allowed to say that under that treaty.
Right.
I have to sit there taking. Meanwhile, the journalists are all writing everything down.
Yeah.
He did this, he did that, everything. That judge then, he looks at me like this. He had these half moon glasses. He looked at me like this. He goes, Mr. Ahmad. He said, because you are, I think he said something like, because you are committed to the ideology of sacrifice and martyrdom. Something like that. He said those words. He goes, I'm denying you bail, and you're going to be held. You're going to be held in custody without prison or something like that. And that was it. And he said, take him away. And then from there, I'm now, I've spoken to my family and they're crying on the phone, and because the police has then raided the houses again a second time and all that. From Paddington Green police station then, I am taken, no, not even from Paddington Green, from that courthouse, I'm taken straight to a high security prison, Wood Hill, in Milton Keynes. And I've got the clothes that I was wearing I've got the clothes on that I was wearing at work the day before. And now I'm in a high security prison.
Straight there.
I'm in a high security category A prison, HM prison.
And
Wood Hill,
Cat A is
Milton
full
Keynes.
of like
So I'm now
life
in
as
prison.
kind of.
Gang members, people that are on trial for murder, for armed robbery, for high-end, drugs importation and drug smuggling. I'm there now. I'm there with all
Just
these
there,
people.
straight in.
I'm just there, straight in.
So what was that first day like there? Just have you even got time to comprehend what's going on, process this?
No.
Nothing.
No.
It
But
just-
I know it's serious. And in that movie, The Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah.
where he says that when that door slams shut at night, that's when you know it's for real. And the first night, the hardest night in prison is the first night.
Are you in a cell by yourself?
I'm in a cell by myself. The first night is the hardest, then the first day, then the first week, then the first month, then the first year. After the first year, you sort of, your body, you're able to okay, I can sort of.
But this is high security, so how different is that? Is that 23-hour lockup? Well, what is that?
So
what does
in
that
that
look like?
prison that I went to, there was a lot of association time out of cell. But every time you move from one part of the prison to another, a dog has to accompany you.
A dog.
Yeah, like a
police
prison
dog.
prison officer with a dog.
So every single person's got his own person next to him with a dog.
No. When you move out of the prison unit, so if I'm moving from the prison unit to the gym or prison unit to visits, that short distance, they have to radio and a guy will come and there'll be an officer with me and then there'll be another one with a dog in case I try to make a run for it.
So that's done one at a time for every single person, or is that just you?
I think if there's a group of us, then we have one dog is enough for for all of us.
Right.
We get our cells. We have to change cells every 3 months. You have to change your cell. No one can come to visit you, or you can't phone anyone unless it's been approved by the police, and it's a long procedure. Quite strict on a day-to-day basis. So here I am now with all these people. There's a group of guys there. There are these gangs in Birmingham, the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew.
Right.
There were some killings that had taken place of these 2 girls who were killed on New Year's Eve. The guys that were meant to have done it, they were there on trial. Jamaican Yardie gangsters on trial for murder. Armed robberies, people in there for armed robberies, hitmen, professional hitmen. All of you guys, and then there's me.
Then there's you.
Then there's me,
But
yeah.
so do you have to put up a facade then to kind of be around these people, or is it a case of everyone knows that everyone's in here for a reason, so it's got to be serious?
So what happened is that there were some other guys there, there were some other Muslim detainees there that were held without trial, and some of them, they reached out to me and they said, they sort of told me about how prison, what it is, they sort of told me the rules. There's a number of rules. For example, you never ask why someone's here. Okay, why are you here? You never ask.
You never ask.
You never ask.
Not
If they
in
tell
Cat.
you, you do not ask. Okay, if you ask too many questions, you could be a rat or you could be an informant. You do not ask.
Right.
You don't ask how much time people are doing. You don't pry too much about, you sort of like live in the present or the moment unless people, you know, give you that information.
And are you in your own cell?
I'm in my own cell,
Is
yeah.
this a security thing? Like everyone's in their own cell, or
Category A, you have your own cell in that prison.
you have your own cell,
Yeah.
just for safety?
Yeah, so I'm in my own cell, and now
And are you preparing yourself mentally for like a 6 to 8 year stint, like the lawyer said, or are you just taking it there because you don't know what's happening?
I don't think I believe her. I think maybe she's saying the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I don't actually believe her.
Okay.
It turns out that she's spot on, and it took 8 years.
Do people know who you are because of the press around it, and because people are saying your name, right? Like people see this type of injustice.
Yeah. So early on now, I've been on the news. The officers know who I am, and some of the prisoners, because they've seen me on the news and all that. On a physical thing, I'm safe because there's a lot of Muslim prisoners in that particular unit, and some of them are in for like terrorism stuff or whatever. And so on a physical thing, I'm safe. Like I don't have the fear that someone's going to attack me or anything like that. As for how I am, I'm not criminal. I'm not from the street. I was just myself, you know,
Right.
just myself. You know, thank you, good morning, whatever. I was just like that. An incident happened a couple of weeks after I went to prison, where there was 2 weeks after I went to prison, there was a big group of Muslim guys that were arrested on some terrorism case, and they've come in, and they also, like me, these aren't like criminals from the streets. These are ordinary guys from university or whatever. So the way we move obviously is not like the way other people are moving. So there was a table, we would sit and eat together. So we'd finish breakfast and we're just sitting there, 3-4 of us were chatting. A hard-boiled egg lands on the table. We look up, who was that? And a couple of guys like smiling, and they're just shrugging their shoulders, because obviously the guy who did it, he did it and then he ran off. So anyway, so after that, we had a little meeting, the Muslim prisoners, and we're like, okay, you know, what do we do? So the new people like me, we're all of the opinion that it's a provocation, don't rise to the provocation. Maybe they want a response, just ignore it, just be a bit vigilant, just ignore it. 3-4 of the guys said that. I said the same thing. And then there's one guy who's been in prison for 6 years at that point, and he said, he goes, you guys finished? I said, yeah. He said, today it's an egg, tomorrow it'll be a shoe, then it's going to be a chair leg, then someone's going to be stabbed. This is prison, this isn't the outside world. And you stop this now, otherwise it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think later on that day, they found out who it was that did it. The guy was so confident that no one would do anything for him. So the prison showers is like 4, it's like a shower room, and there's like 4 communal showers next to it. So he's there by himself, he's showering butt naked, facing the wall. He's not even facing the door because he's so confident nothing will ever happen to him. Nothing will happen to him. He's facing the wall. One guy walks in, gives him a kick up his backside. He turns around and he starts saying, wasn't me.
Right.
Wasn't me. Then the guy like smacks him on his nose. I think he breaks his nose maybe, and blood starts pouring down, whatever. The guy then tries to make a run for the door. So this guy tries to grab him, but he can't grab him. Why can't he grab him?
It's wet.
Wet and?
Got soap. Right.
It's like slippery. Got soap on him.
Yeah.
Okay. So he tries to get, then he slithers out, and he runs out onto the landing, and so that guy who did it, then he quickly managed to get away. So a couple of moments later, then the officers, they see there's a guy who's naked out on the landing with blood coming out of his nose. Then at that point, they like press the alarm and whatever. And obviously that guy, you never grass in prison. You know, if you get attacked, you never say, oh, that prisoner did this to me or whatever. You always, oh, I slipped in the shower.
Yeah.
It's the, what happened to you? I slipped in the shower. Yeah, right. Because one thing's being beaten up, and it's worse being a snitch. That's the worst thing that you can be.
But you see, at that time, there's a lot of buzzwords, jihad, terrorist, all of these words, and they're kind of being applied to you, right?
Yes, yes.
And there's a very negative connotation with that in the UK. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like the press is like, those are like
yes.
red alert words, and
Yes.
they're firmly attached to you.
Yes.
How was that for you, kind of living with that branding of?
So in the prison, it's okay. So on a physical level, it was okay.
Okay.
Because it was, I think on my case was quite controversial from day dot, because I hadn't even been charged.
Yeah.
And my family and community and friends, and then they launched a massive campaign that what's happening to this guy is unjust.
A lot of people were talking about you.
A lot of
people with, you know, known people
Yes,
talking
yeah.
about you.
Yeah, they had demonstrations outside the prison where I was held at. I was getting, I think in the years that I was in custody, I must have got like 10,000 letters from members of the public, people from all over the world, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, America, Canada.
Did that help? Did that give you some type of solace?
It did, yeah. It did. And the people, I used to get a lot of mail, a lot of letters, people opening their lives up to me and sharing their lives. They thought maybe this guy's suffering, so maybe he can relate to our suffering, and they would share their lives with me. Cancer, people going through cancer, domestic violence, struggling with addictions, drug addictions. And it's fascinating. They're like, I don't know these people, and they're sharing their lives with me. And then I'm, writing back to them as well, and forming relationships with some of these people that I never met. Some of them I met when I came out. And so this is all going on, but meanwhile my case is going through the courts. And
why does it take so long, may I ask?
So what happened is that the first magistrate court hearing, that took about just under a year. Things take time, and I lost that. And because no judge is going to stand up against no judge in the UK is going to stand up against the United States of America. Then it went to the High Court. So by that point, I've been in prison for 2 years. Then that was lost. Then it went to the House of Lords at the time. It's called Supreme Court now. 6 months later now, end of 2006 now.
Are you kind of hopeful at all of these junctions that
yes,
you're going to,
Yes.
Okay. So you always keep the hope alive?
I'm thinking, the
This
first
is it.
judge that sees my case, is going to throw it out. I'm going to go home. I'm 100% sure.
Every time the judge is like, no.
He's knocked me down.
Right.
Okay, and one judge in the High Court, Lord Justice Laws, in my High Court, when he turned down the appeal, he said, the US would do no such thing. Like, they treat people well, they treat prisoners well. That's 1 year before, like, the Abu Ghraib, like, the stuff comes out. Like, the real stuff hasn't come out, what the US has been doing.
Right.
So, December 2006 then, so I think now middle of 2007. So I've now been in prison for 3 years.
Are you in the same prison now?
No, I've been moved to. I was in Wood Hill for 2 years. Then I've been moved to Belmarsh.
And these are Cat A's.
Cat A's. Then from Belmarsh, I've been moved to Manchester. In Manchester.
Did I see a program in Belmarsh? There's like another prison inside the prison.
Yeah, you might have seen me on there because they interviewed me.
Oh, was you on there?
Maximum Security.
Is that the Ross Kent one?
No, not the Ross Kent.
Okay,
one,
up in the Ross. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a Channel 5 did one a couple of years ago.
Right, so you're in the maximum security.
No, I'm not in that one.
Okay,
in that unit within the unit.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just on the general
Right.
population.
Right. Okay, I thought you were in that one.
So they kept me for So I was in Belmarsh for a short time. Then I went to Manchester. Meanwhile, I'm doing some time in segregation units as well. I get to Manchester.
Do like people know you when you arrive in the prison? Like, not in a, I don't know how to say, not like in a fame way, but people know that's
they
that
do
guy.
Because my case is always on the news.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people.
Does
are
that
familiar.
help you in a way in prison?
It does, because they can see that an injustice is being done to me. They see my dad. He comes there and he's like talking on camera and he's talking about me, and he's crying sometimes.
You are protected by the other prisoners, or do people try to take advantage of you then because they feel like if he's not built like us, he's maybe weaker than us?
Yeah. So in Wood Hill, I'm like Wood Hill prison. I spent 2 years there. Okay, no problem. I go to Belmarsh, no problem.
Cameraman saying, can you just come a bit closer?
Yeah. Sorry. Wood Hill, I spent 2 years there, no problem.
Yeah. When you say no problem, no kind of physical problem,
Yeah,
it's still a problem with being in the prison. But
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of like Mexican standoffs and all that, but I didn't have any.
where, in UK prisons?
Yeah, but no, like
The
physical
Mexican
fights or
essays
nothing.
are out here. I didn't know that. Yeah.
But no like
Okay.
no physical
No, mate.
fights or anything. You know, they say prison is like it's like boarding school.
Right.
Doesn't matter who your dad is, who your family is, how much money you have. It's you and your personality
Gonna get you through this.
that's going to get you through it. And my thing was respect everyone, don't involve in other people's business, and you get that in return.
Right.
So come to Manchester now. A strange thing happened in Manchester. So there weren't that many.
What year is this? Sorry.
This is December 2006.
So what's that year? What of your sentence?
Year 2.5 in my time in prison.
Cool. Yeah.
And I get to Manchester, and they sent me there for punishment because some fight or some incident happened in another prison, and they said that I ordered it or had something to do with it.
You're like a boss in the prison, you know. I ordered this. It was me, you know.
As an accusation.
Sorry.
Yeah. So they accused me. Some guy got
Yeah.
done or whatever, and they accused me.
Right.
And so for punishment, I was sent to one prison, then I was sent
And
to
it's
another
always
one.
Cat, yeah?
Yeah, always Kate. I'm Kate. I come to Manchester. They keep me in the segregation unit for a while. Then they put me onto the main unit, and I face a lot of hostility from the prisoners there now. There are not many Muslim prisoners, and Manchester is different. You've got different gangs there.
Right.
You've got gangs from Liverpool there on that unit. It's a special secure unit now.
Right.
I turn up there, and there's a lot of hostility. So like they wanted me to share a cell with another prisoner. So in Manchester, in that unit, cates.
For the first time, you're going to share.
Yeah, cates have to share cells.
Right.
So they put me in this cell with this guy, and he's not a Muslim prisoner, and he's from one of like the
white
Manchester
guy?
gangs. He's sort of like, mixed race.
Right.
He comes into the cell. He goes, bro, you're Muslim? I said, yeah. He goes, you're going to get up to pray at like 5 o'clock in the morning? I said, yeah. He goes, you're going to wash your feet in the sink? I said, yeah. He goes, no disrespect, bro. He goes, I'm not going to share a cell with you. Then fine. So he went to the office. He said, I'm not sharing a cell with that guy. And they told him, if you refuse a lawful order, then you're going to have to go to seg. He said, fine. Okay. So meanwhile, I'm in this, so for that, because it's just before lockup, bang up, he's still there. Then in the morning, he went to the seg. He's in the cell next to me. Now, he's in another cell by himself, like a punishment cell. He's now talking to his friends, where his friends asking him that, yo, what happened? And he's talking, but he's referring to me and calling me Bin Laden.
Right.
Okay? Like in a mocking type of thing. And that hasn't happened to me in prison before.
Right.
So I asked, they didn't know that I was listening. So Bin Laden, yes. And his friends are laughing, and a few of them are laughing and all that. So I sensed this like hostility or this thing. And I thought, okay, this is a different game. So before the 8 o'clock they opened the cells the next morning, I'm already up. I've got my shoes on, laces tight, and it's game on. Because I'm thinking someone's going to come into my cell, they're going to attack me. I'm not going to stand there and I'm going to fight back.
Yeah.
So I'm now primed. That if anyone tries to attack me, I've got eyes at the back of my head. I'm primed now, and all that's happening. A couple of days go by, then they put another guy into my cell, and he is on trial for attempted murder. There's been some shooting, or someone has shot at someone with a submachine gun, and he's on trial for attempted murder for that. The jury is deliberating his case. So
Right.
anyway, so he comes in. So I've got a complete stranger sitting there like this. He's I think half African and half Carib. I'm not sure. African maybe of origin. He is African and Caribbean. So a big guy. So he comes in, and we're in this cell now. So I'm now in the same cell with a complete stranger who I've never met before, and we've never met each other. The doors are shut now. So we just like me and you are talking. We sit down and we start sharing our stories of how we ended up in this cell. And we have time, there's nothing
That's
else.
one thing
None
you
of us
got,
are
yeah.
going anywhere. He's saying, yeah, he's saying that I'm Muslim as well. My dad was Muslim and I took my Shahada, but I don't really practice it and everything. He was super stressed out because tomorrow, he goes, if I get done, because I've got previous cases, if the jury finds me guilty tomorrow, I'm going to get 15 years life. I'm done. He was really stressed out, and I told him some, comforting words, and I taught him a prayer as well.
Did he tell you if he did it or not?
No, and I didn't ask. I'm
no,
not, that doesn't bother me. He's on trial for it.
Yeah.
Whether they did it or not, it's not. I think he told me some stuff about the case, but I wouldn't want to share that.
Okay.
So he was a smoker at that time. I don't know what it's like now, but you were able to smoke. So there was like a little toilet cubicle next to the cell, and just my request was that if you don't mind when you smoke, could you go into the toilet and do it? He said, yeah, no problem. So I went to sleep multiple times in the night. He's getting up, he's going into the toilet to smoke because he's stressed out. He's like, he can't sleep. So morning I got up.
His life could change the next day.
Life will change within 24 hours.
Either way, yeah.
So the next morning then, when I got up for the Fajr prayer, I sat on my prayer mat, and like I'll do every time, and I prayed. I'm praying for myself, and I also prayed for him, that this guy's stressed out, make things easy for him or whatever. Then in the morning, so I thought he's asleep, but I didn't know that he's, he sort of wasn't really asleep. Then in the morning, I said, listen, when you're in the holding cell waiting for the verdict, say this prayer. He goes, can you write for me? I wrote on for him, there's no power or might except with God. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. That's the Arabic. I just wrote for him in English. I said, no power or might except with God. I said, just keep saying that. Just keep saying it 50, 100,000, 10,000 times. Just keep saying that. Don't say anything other than that when you're in the holding cell. And that will give you strength. So he got it. He goes, thank you. And I gave him a hug. It's all right. Good luck. Then he's gone. Late that afternoon, he comes back grinning from ear to ear. What happened? Because I got found not guilty. I said, oh, congratulations. I gave him a hug. Yeah, whatever. I mean, he had some other minor case thing. That's why he didn't get released. Anyway, he then went round on that whole unit where I faced this hostility, and these are gang members from like different, and he's now telling all of these guys, I bust my case because that man, he prayed for me, because I woke up in the morning and my man's on his prayer mat and he's praying for me and he taught me this prayer, and because of that I bust my case.
Right.
Now they start looking at me like some holy man.
Okay.
So they start coming up to me.
Pray for me.
Assalamualaikum, yeah, my name's this, I'm Muslim as well. I said, okay, can I request you something? Can you please say a prayer for me? I said, brother, I ain't no holy man. He did the prayer. That was,
yeah.
He goes, okay, I know that, but please, it'll make me. So from hostility, within 24 hours, because he's one of them, the one who got found not guilty, he's one of them and they know him.
Yeah.
And he's sharing a cell with me, so he's not making it up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they don't know who I am, but they know who he is.
Yeah.
So within 24 hours, my whole thing on that unit has changed from hostility to that thing of reverence. And even though those guys that were talking about me, they've been like all of that stuff, even them now, they're looking at me as some form of respect, because now I've got all of these guys that are now like want to hang out with me and
Wow.
and all that. So one thing I used to do there is, if you have some education in prison, then you can really help. Again, like Shawshank Redemption, I used to do all the paperwork. I used to do everyone's complaints and writing prison policies and prison policy. Like 7229, it shows you've done a breach of this and that, and I would like be writing it, and I would help people with their cases, and people that pleaded guilty. By that time now, I'm a few months in, I'm getting so I'm like safe in that. I've got a really good position in that, because people need me, and I'm getting guys that are working on the surgery, they're coming and they're giving me like extra food. And that same guy that didn't want to share a cell with me, he's now in a cell next to me. He's come back and he's apologized to me. He said, I'm sorry about that. I said, it's okay. And then I joke and I tease him about that as well. And he's working on the surgery now. He'll come back every night and he'll give me extra oranges and fruit. He'll pass it through, because the two cells, the way they were, you can pass stuff through the toilet. And so he's, so one of the most remarkable people that I met there was a man by the name of Peter Fury.
Peter Fury,
right. Uncle of Tyson Fury, the one who coached Tyson to beat Klitschko in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Peter Fury in his previous life was a big time organized crime boss
Right.
from Manchester. He was in that prison unit at that time when I was there. I lived with him for a year. At the time where so he was fighting some, I don't know whether it was like a money laundering or I can't remember what it was, right? Some case he was fighting. And a very respectable, honorable man. And I don't say that to belittle all the crimes or whatever he does, but I'm saying as a person, I found him to be a very respectable, honorable man in terms of his personality, in his manners, and we became really good friends, really good friends. And I would basically go, and you could tell this guy had kudos by the way that all the prisoners in that unit looked up to him and treated him, and even the officers.
Right.
So they have this thing called bolts and bars, where 3 times a day the officers have to come into every cell. They have to check all the bolts under your bed that nothing's missing, and they have to check the bars that you haven't like broken through the bars. They'll just come in, they'll do it, and they'll just walk out. Whenever they would come into Pete's cell, they would knock on the door before coming in.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll be with him, and we're sitting there drinking coffee, whatever.
He got it like that.
Okay. And so I say, Pete, can you do your bolts and bars, please? All right. Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
please,
no problem.
yeah?
Yeah, please, yeah. Come in. Because they knew that he had power. He had money and he had people. He had power. He had influence. He was big time. Like, he was like, yeah,
Okay.
he was a big boss. So anyway, so we became friends, and we used to, and even later he told me that the officers came to him and said, Pete, you know, people are talking, why are you hanging around with this guy? This guy's a terrorist and all that stuff. Pete said, he goes, I said to that senior officer, I said to him, I said, you see how these other prisoners, how they treat your staff, don't you? He said, yeah. I said, this man, has he ever been disrespectful to you or to any of your staff? He goes, no. He goes, this is the most respectful man on this unit. He goes, about time you and your officers started showing him some respect as well. He didn't tell me that. He told me this later, like after when we came out of prison. So we used to just talk about family, about religion. We used to talk about, you know, about he told me all about the traveler, the community, the culture, and I found that they're so similar to Muslims in terms of some of their like morals, or in terms of their like he said my wife has never been with another man. He goes, my daughters, they go out, and there's, you know, photos of his daughters that are like dressed out, that they're going to like a nightclub, whatever. He goes, that's my son. He goes with them. They've never touched another man. They will marry, and they will only marry someone that I approve of, for example, and or as in I have to vet the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Before like you know, he goes
Yeah.
that that's the way my, and I found that quite strange, because that was something that I
The traveller community, yeah. They've
Yeah.
got,
So I spent hours and hours, and sometimes I would be down and he'd uplift me, and he'd be down and up at fair, and really we made like a really strong friendship that remains to this day.
I remember to say, was Tyson fighting at that time, or was this?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, Huey, who's Pete's son, who's also a boxer. Huey, I remember, was a kid. He was 10 years old, and he would come to the prison to visit his dad. So I stayed there I was there for about a year or so. So I think around about the middle of 2007, then my case, and meanwhile, my case is always on the news. It's getting a lot of high profile attention. I lost everything in the UK, all the UK courts. Then in the middle of 2007, my case went to the European Court of Human Rights, and that took another 5 years as it
5 years.
5 years and 4 months while it went through that system. Meanwhile, I'm still in prison.
That is crazy. Well, what was your lowest point in prison, if you don't mind me asking?
I think the lowest point for me was, you know, when everything is taken away from you, you lose your liberty, your family, being with your family, you lose your marriage. My marriage broke up. You lose your job, your career, your house, when everything is taken away from you, the thing that remains with you is more dearer to you than anything, and you hold on to it. And in my case, that was my religion.
Right.
That was my faith. I thought they've taken everything away from me. I've got no present, I've got no future. I only have a past. And if I thought that one thing I'm going to hold on to, and I'm not going to let them take that away from me. So I became stronger in my religion. You know, stronger, and my relationship with God became closer than it's ever been. Except one night. And that was when my first court case, so I've been in prison now for 8 months. I'm 100% sure the first judge that has seen it at the magistrate's court, he's going to say, this is rubbish, send this man home. I'm 100% sure. I've prayed, I've seen dreams. I'm like, this is it, you know, I'm walking home. I even allocated my stuff, said, guys, if I don't come back tonight, you can have the stereo, you can have this, you can have that, you can whatever, he'll sort it out. And when the judge ruled against me, I was in pieces. I was completely devastated. I was broken. And then that night when I got back to my cell, I was angry at God. And I questioned him. I said, God, why did you do this? I was angry at him. And I'd never done that before in my life, and I never did it since. And that thing, it lasted like a night. I just kept saying to him, why? I prayed, I did this, I did that, I did everything. Like, why did you do this to me? Then by the morning, I was like, what am I doing, man? This is God. He knows everything. He knows that there's a wisdom behind it. Who am I to question God? He knows everything. So in the morning, then I apologized to God and I repented. I said, you know, and God is cool with that. You understand? He's cool with that. When you make a mistake and you go back to him, none of us are perfect. People have this image, like in the prison, I read, obviously I'm Muslim, I read the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament. If you read the God of the Old Testament, he's a rude, angry, harsh God, strict, difficult to please, not chilled out. If you read the God of the Quran, or the way of the Prophet, you know, the Prophet, peace be upon him, the way he talks about God, he's chill, he's cool with that. You make mistakes, it's okay, man. Even if you do it 100 times, it's okay.
But even serving 8 years or whatever it is, have you ever not questioned since, why has this happened to me?
Looking back where I am now in my life,
yeah,
that was the greatest thing. Those 11 years I did in prison was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. My life now is, I'm richer now, my life, than I lived a life of 100 years in those 11 years. What I have now in life, in terms of people that I know, in terms of experiences I had since I came home from prison, everything, nothing. Looking forward, I would never have wanted to go into that. Looking back, I thank God every day that he put me through that.
Really?
100%. I thank him every day that he put me through that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a deeper mindset.
So the lowest point for me was that. Because that was the point where I thought, and it lasted one night and it never happened again. And I said, God, I'm sorry. I know you have a wisdom. I know you're all going to sort it out in the end, which is what he did. At that point, I actually thought that my faith has been rocked now. My faith has been shaken now.
And you win that previous case, don't you, of assault?
So yeah. So meanwhile, that case is ongoing.
You win that. You get compensated.
So 2009, yeah. They make me offers of money. They offered me 20 grand. And I said no, take it back, give it to charity.
Well, you're in prison, so what are you going to do with 20 grand?
I'm in prison. There's only so many tuna cans you can buy with 20 grand,
yeah,
isn't it? Okay,
yeah.
what am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
Then they offered me 60 grand. A week before the trial, they offered me £60,000 to settle out of court. All my lawyers said, take it. They said, you might not win at trial, you may get a bad judge. Even if you win at trial, you're not going to get more than 10 grand. And we suggest you take it. And I went and I had to give them a decision within like a couple of hours. I went back and I prayed and I came back. I told these guys, I said, I am more sure now than I've ever been at any point. I want to go to a trial, reject the money.
Okay.
I've rejected the money. I said, I want them to pay.
Right.
Because that guy who said you're going to remember this day for the rest of your life, I wanted him to pay. And there's no amount of money.
Right.
Of course, I was tempted to take the money because I'm in prison.
Yeah.
You know, and I could come out, and if I come out, it could like help me. But at that point, my principle was more important to me. And I said to my lawyers, I said, they are not going to buy me out. I am not that person. You're going to throw money in my face.
So what happened then?
And so I refused the money. I said, I'm going to trial. I went to trial, day one of trial, because I said, unless you admit liability, this is on, game's on. I went and the opening of the case happened. They moved me from Long Lartin to Belmarsh, and they did that. And I come there, and after the first day, the opening, they threw in the towel. They said, okay, we're going to admit full liability, and we're going to give you the £60,000.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So what happened to the officers then that were...
So then what happened, it's 2009, then the case, like news went everywhere that they've admitted, you know, that they admitted that I didn't, because their view was that he fought back. And they admitted that basically this guy here, you know, he didn't attack our officers at all. Then there was Boris Johnston was mayor of London at that time. He ordered an inquiry. And a year after that, it led to 4 officers being put on trial for actual bodily harm. There was a 5-week criminal trial in 2011. I was the main witness. The jury we had to just convince the jury that one of my 73 injuries was a deliberate strike.
Right.
Because the officer said he was thrashing his head and he was attacking us, and these are all self-inflicted. We just had to show that one of those injuries, they caused it. And as a result, you know, and they would be convicted. Their own defense expert said there's 7 injuries here that cannot be explained by anything other than he was hit by the officers. After a 5-week trial, the jury found the officers not guilty in 45 minutes, and then they asked the judge, can we shake hands with the officers that we've just acquitted?
No way.
You can read, there's a BBC News report. Ben Ando was the BBC News reporter. There's a news report.
So they all got not guilty?
They got not guilty by the jury who asked to shake hands with the officers. And people might say, was the jury maybe as all white, maybe as no? Mixed jury. The jury foreman was a black guy. There was white people, black people, men, women, young, old, all of them together. I mean, so that was quite hard on me to take it, but that guy who put me in the chokehold, seeing him in court for the first time, and then seeing his as he's giving evidence, because he's clearly lying, his hand is shaking, and seeing him like that. When I walked into court and I saw him and I locked eyes with him for the first time, we had, in those moments, we shared a private moment where we had this conversation through our eyes, where I'm telling him, do you remember? Remember what you said to me in the back of the van? You make me remember? Look what's happening now.
Who's paying for your lawyer fees and all of that whilst it's going on?
It's all legal aid, because I got no money, no income, nothing.
Yeah.
All that's
okay.
all that's going on.
So then that time spent. So then what happens? And
eventually, then so I'm now, the years go by. My case is really high profile, and now all of a sudden I've done 8 years in prison. 5 of those years have been in isolation because I was on a special secure unit, and there were 7 of us there, and we were cut off from the rest of the prison.
Who were the other 7? Just like murderers and stuff?
No. They were people like me that were Muslim detainees held without charge that were facing deportation or extradition to other countries. Right. One guy had been held there for 14 years without trial, but he wasn't British. Another guy had been held 12 years without trial. I was the longest detained without charge British citizen. No one has been held without trial in the UK for more than 8 years.
Wow.
And then I lost all my case. I lost everything. And then one day I'm extradited to the United States.
Yeah, so they just say, right, you're going to America.
Yeah, the case comes to an end, and then I'm extradited to the United States, which is, maybe we should do that on another sitting.
Why?
What do you think?
No, let's go,
Huh?
bro. No, we're here, man. We got
There's lots to talk about.
Let's go, bro. We're
Huh?
here, bro. Let's do it, bro. There's no
Okay,
two
let's
part.
take a 2-minute break.
Okay, let's take a
Let's
2 minute. We're gonna
break.
talk about America, bro. Barber was trying to stop the tea spilling midway and said, let's do a part 2. I'm like, hell no, bro. Let's get this done. I know it's late. It is late. It's 10 o'clock. Well, it's 10:20.
And I'm from
Yeah, we know.
I'm from another part of town.
It's cool. But you've had a stretch, so all right, come on, let's just get this out of the way, brother, please, man. All right, so summarize the British experience of prison.
So 8 years now I spent in high security prisons in the UK. I've lived with gang members. I've lived with organized crime bosses. I've lived with, I've learned all about the criminal underworld. I've learned about prison. I've learned about so many things. My case is now a really high profile case. In 2011 they did my family did this e-petition campaign. It supported people like the boxer Amir Khan, supported celebrities. A lot of people. It got a lot of attention. I think 150,000 people signed that petition. That campaign. They made these little videos, rap videos and song videos they made about it as well. So all the legal processes in the UK, they come to an end, and then I'm told that I am going to get extradited to America.
Right.
I say goodbye to my family.
How are you feeling about America?
So I'm telling a different thing to my family than I'm telling internally. I'm telling my family, I'll be back in a couple of years and it won't be that bad. But internally I'm thinking, once I go there, that's it. I'm not coming back. But I can't tell him that.
Right.
So eventually, all the legal processes come to an end, and I'm watching live on BBC while the final court hearings are taking place, and I'm in Long Lartin prison in Worcestershire, and the reporter says that his cases they've all come to an end, and these men, because there were other men that had other cases similar to me as well that were going to be extradited. The judges have refused the appeal, and the Home Secretary has said that the extradition process will start immediately.
Right.
Minutes later, my door opens and two prison officers are there from that unit, and they said, you're only allowed to take a small bag of items with you and to put this on or whatever. So cut a long story short, I'm put in a police van, and I'm driven to a Royal Air Force base in I forgot what it was called. It was somewhere in the east of England, so it's about 2.5 hours drive, pouring down with rain. Enter the Royal Air Force base, and there's 2 planes, 2 private jets with lights, turbines running, everything like that. Get there, they put these blindfolds on me.
Blindfolds?
Blacked out ski mask, headphones, and 3-way shackles. And I remember when you put these on, because the UK police officer went inside. It's like a permanent US Air Force facility.
Right.
He goes inside, he comes back, he goes, you need to put these on. And I said to him, I said, blindfolding, I said, sensory deprivation is banned in Europe. You're not allowed to do that. He goes, it's not us, it's the Americans that
You're
that
kind
want.
of in American land kind of thing now. You're not in America, but their rules are now applying.
Yeah, that's what he's trying. I'm telling him that, no, I'm still on UK.
Right.
All the UK police officers were proper shook.
Right.
They were petrified.
Yeah.
If you saw the body language,
Yeah.
how they were in front of the... So I go in, I'm wearing these blacked out ski mask and the headphones and the shackles. I go into that little building. They take it off, and one guy's barking orders, you're now in the custody of the United States of America, and you'll be treated whatever, like the G.I. Joe was just like, just like running off these things. Anyway, so they put me on this private jet. Quite good, first time being on a private jet.
I was gonna say something like that, but I didn't want the comedy to creep in, bro, because people have a go at me. But you said
like
it.
a nice leather seat here, and there's like a little table
Yeah.
with like walnut interior, and there's another one
It's a walnut
facing
interior.
there. Okay, I didn't enjoy it that much because I'm in 3-way like shackles. That means my handcuffs are joined to each other. Then there's a belt around my waist, and the handcuffs are attached to that.
Right.
And then there's another chain going down towards my legs, and then there's shackles on my ankles as
Right.
well. So leg shackles are banned in the UK. That's an American thing. So anyway, so yeah, it's a 8-hour flight, 7-hour flight, something like that across
Where in
the
America you
Atlantic. Connecticut.
Right.
Yeah, go to Connecticut. I was quite hungry, and so they brought me this MRE, which is called Meal Ready to Eat. It's like a US military ration pack.
Right.
They gave me one of those, about that big. It's just bland, high calorific food. I ate everything in there because I did not know when I'm going to be fed again. And even one of the Homeland Security handlers, when he saw that, he goes, "Oh my God, man, you must have been hungry. Like if you ate all of those things, because those things are not tasty. Because if you ate all of that, so for me it was like a survival.
Are you seeing the other prisoners there as well? Is it?
No, so there's me and another guy on my plane, and those three, they went to New York. So
So you had a separate plane just for you?
Me and this other prisoner.
Right.
So there's two of us,
Right.
but we're not allowed to look at each other or make eye contact. There's like a little.
Right.
I mean, it's a 12-seater plane.
Right. Yeah.
So they're on the
Okay.
other side. So anyway, so we get to the first hour and the last hour of the flight. I'm in blindfolds. We got to the surprisingly, I was quite calm, and I could felt that people were praying for me. I mean, my case is now national news, breaking news all over BBC, all the channels, back-to-back coverage that 5 men are being extradited to the United States of America, and so I had a lot of people praying for me, and I just felt this sort of peace, this serenity, this calm on the plane. I even managed to get a bit of sleep, even though I'm in shackles. I lay down on the floor and I got a bit of sleep. So the plane lands, and local time now, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm taken to the courthouse, and put in the holding cell, and then there's a little court hearing appearance happens in the morning, and then I'm taken to prison. Now, I'm taken to prison from the courthouse, which is about a 2-hour drive. I think there must have been about 10 SUVs in that convoy.
Right.
And these Breds had like submachine guns. And they're like, I mean, the Americans, they know how to do drama.
Yeah. It's
And
like
there's me all
movies.
shackled off. Yeah, they like to do
The
drama.
SUV, it's like presidential,
There's
line,
like, there's like 10 of them or something.
For you, yeah.
Okay? And all these guys with like submachine guns and armed, whatever.
But I suppose they had press to do as well, to be like, oh, look, we've got him and all of that.
Yeah,
They had to,
they had to do all that drama. So they took me to a Supermax prison.
Supermax, right.
A Supermax is the highest security prison in the United States, and it's meant for prisoners who are so dangerous that they cannot be held with other prisoners because they've either killed other prisoners or they've killed prison officers in custody.
Right.
So therefore they have to be kept in
top of
complete
the top
isolation.
security, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they take me to this thing. So as soon as I arrived there, they strip me naked on camera. They put me on this little it's like a smock. So it covers me from here up to my knees.
Right.
My arms are bare, and that's it. And they put shackles on me, and they make me walk down this alleyway. And this thing is like an underground. It's an underground prison, dark, drab, green colors, and there's this concrete long walkway, which I'm shuffling along, and they put these paper slippers on me.
Right.
Which went after the first two steps or so. I'm bent over, and they make me walk all the way, and they stick me into this freezing cold cell, which is like 14 degrees Celsius because of the air conditioner, stinking of feces, and there's nothing in that cell except 2 strips of toilet paper, and that's it.
2 strips
Of toilet paper, that's it.
When you mean strips, like 2 bits of it.
2 squares, that's it. If I want water, it's a little sink and there's a toilet. There's a button, you press it, 60 seconds on, 5 minutes off. It's to stop people flooding themselves. 60 seconds on, 5 minutes off. If you use the toilet, you can't flush it. You have to ask the officer to flush it for you. Outside, there's like a little 3-inch by 36-inch like slit window, one in the door and one in the back side of the cell. The one outside, I just see a concrete wall, and the one inside, it's like, the way they've designed it, you just see mirrors. It's there to play mind games with you. So if an officer's coming from the left, You think he's coming from the left, but he's actually coming from the right.
Right.
And that's it. Nothing to do, nothing to read, no one to talk to.
But
nothing.
that feeling of like, what did it feel like? Because that's nothing like the UK, is it? So.
Yes. So one day in an American prison is like 1 year in a high security prison in the UK.
Yeah.
So compared to that, so that thing, I'd been nothing like that. I had not been through anything like that in the UK. So I'm there now, and then these officers, they come. So then they give me some food. I'm starving by that point. In a little bag, my food is in a cup, and they don't even give me a spork. I have to eat it like an animal with my hands. And they just open this thing and they just like give it to me. So then there's an officer who's going around, he's inciting the inmates against me. This guy is a terrorist, he's a terrorist. He tried to kill you all, he tried to blow you all up. Because some of the other guys on the other case that went to New York, their case involved some like there was explosions or some sort of conspiracy.
Right.
Even though they were innocent of that, but like that was mentioned in the case.
Right.
So these guys, obviously, they've got half a brain. They think all these lot are the same. So he's going around. He goes, he tried to kill Americans. I'm going to get him. Right, I've got this for him.
He's shouting it out to all the other prisoners.
He's shouting it out to all the other prisoners and all that. And he's coming out outside my cell. And he's like, openly racist. I'm saying something to him. He goes, yeah, go speak English. He's putting the American flag. He's putting it on like the window outside my cell. About 24 hours later, trigger warning, by the way, trigger warning about to come up, mental health related. So I've been there one day, one night. The next day, that afternoon, I had a panic attack.
First time?
Never had it before, never had it since.
Right.
I'm just there in the cell, and then it hits me where I am.
Right.
And where I am and
what's
what
going
I face. I'm thousands of miles from home. I could spend the rest of my life in a cell like this. And it's like my chest is caving in itself. You know, my mouth becomes dry, eyes dilate, my breathing becomes like, I start breathing like fast. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I remembered I remembered someone who told me in prison that had happened to them before, and I thought, oh my God, this is happening to me. Then I just started reciting bits from the Quran that I'd memorized. Surah Yusuf, I just started reading that. And as I started reading that, then I sort of just came out of it naturally, and I felt a bit calm after that. I stayed there for about 3 days, and then I went into a normal, not normal, but I went to another cell. So a supermax prison is basically 24-hour bang up, 24-hour lock in your cell. You're allowed out 1 hour, 3 times a week.
3 times a week, 1 hour?
3 times a week, 1 hour. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for 1 hour of what they call recreation, which is a small underground dog cage, which is 4 steps forward and maybe 2 steps to the right. That's how tiny it is. You can see the sky, but you can't see around you. It's just concrete, and there's just like some fencing so you can see the sky. Every time you leave your cell, you're subject to a full strip search, and including cavities. It's a very humiliating strip search, and you're put in full shackles, legs, chain, and then handcuffs joined to the chain at the back. So even when you go, you're allowed to shower 3 times a week, a 15-minute shower. And even if the shower is next door to you, you go through that same routine, and you're shackled inside the shower. So they let go of they undo the handcuffs, but your legs, they remain, your feet remain in shackles while you shower. And after 15 minutes, you just call the officer, and he comes in, he lets you out.
So this is the worst of the worst in regards to prisons.
Bro, I was next to death row. There's 11 guys on death row. People that I would like, I think 8 of the 11 they had like some of them had done like sexual related crimes, where they had like raped and killed women. Some of them had like killed like kids, or like some really horrific things that they had done. I think 3 were what you might class as normal. I think one guy, he killed like 2 police officers. Then there was another Latin Kings hitman, and there was a third guy. I'm next to these guys. Their regime is better than mine. They have access to the death row library. They get more time out of cell. They get more time to use the phone and everything. And my regime is more restricted than them. In the daytime, so you stay in your cell. You don't have a pillow. You're just there.
And there's nothing in your cell.
So I was able to get some books.
Yeah, there's no TV or nothing.
No, no TV or nothing. No TV, no radio. And
how big's your cell?
The cell is about.
So in this
4.
room, how many cells could you get? 4.
Of those, you'll probably get.
In this room.
If you're to split it lengthways,
yeah,
that's probably 1 cell.
Okay.
So you're talking like the dog cage, 4 steps there and 2 steps at the side.
Right.
There's a sink unit and a toilet in your cell. 1 minute on, 5 minutes off. 1 minute on, 5 minutes off.
And the flush, they have to flush it?
This one you can do.
Okay.
There's a slit window, one on your door that looks towards the landing, and one to the back that you can see outside.
Okay.
So what happened then, I'm there, I'm just by myself, and then one of the guys, he reached out to me, some guy, he shouted my cell number. He said, 104, how you doing, brother? It was a Latino gang member. And he said, how you doing? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. He started talking to me. He gave me tips. He told me, he goes, this, what have you got? What's in your cell? How you can get this? How you can get that? So there, you're not allowed to have any contact with other prisoners. You can speak through the cells, but you can't have physical contact. You can't pass things. But some officers, some sympathetic officers, will pass things between cells.
Right.
They call them quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. NFL reference.
Yeah, American football.
Yeah.
And so I'm just there, and all of a sudden, an officer comes. He opens my thing. He gives me a whole load of like snacks or noodles and pen and paper and stuff to write and books to read, everything, which someone else had one of the guys had sent.
So is that the officer doing that, or is that another prisoner saying?
Another prisoner said, "Go and give it to me." He ain't got nothing.
Okay.
So anyway, initially there was a lot of hostility. I found out afterwards from the prisoners towards me because I'm a foreigner.
Right.
And not only am I a foreigner, but I tried to, apparently in their eyes, I tried to kill Americans.
You're the Muslim terrorist.
And I tried to kill Americans.
Right.
So even though they're all gangsters and criminals.
There's a thing about Americans, they're very patriotic about America.
Yeah. He was our enemy. He's an enemy to all of us.
Yeah.
They didn't want to speak to me or whatever. And later on I found out is that Latino guy was advocating for me. And he's going around and he's saying that if you don't want to deal with him, don't deal with him. Because have you spoken to him? Because the guy's respectful. Because he's respectful. He's not who you think he is.
Okay.
And he's garnering support. He goes, why are you going to believe a word of the pigs? You go, that guy's a pig.
Yeah.
He's telling you what he is. Why are you going to believe them? He's one of us. He's a prisoner. So he's advocating for me. Anyway, so the regime in that place, you're just in your cell all the time and it's just quiet.
24 hours a day.
Yes, other than that 1 hour 3 times a week. Nighttime comes and these guys will just shout and bang on their doors all night long to get attention.
Why?
Because they're bored and just they're like, hey, so-and-so.
So all day quiet, all night noise?
All night they'll just be up till the morning. Mentally ill inmates, provoking each other. They'll have swearing matches.
So I guess you can't sleep then in the night time. So you sleep in the day?
I mean, you try to. I didn't really sleep in the day or the night.
But is the concept of time even a thing in there? Because I guess there's no clocks.
Well, there's like a little clock in like the main landing so you can see, but it's not like a lot of them would sleep in the morning. But you're hearing this banging, and later on, I mean, as I got to a better cell, the way I would go to sleep is I would have to stuff, so in the electric door, I'd have to stuff clothing all the way around it.
Try and soundproof.
Yeah, wet tissue where the flap is. Then I'd get this empty shampoo bottle, and if you put it at a certain angle, then at the vent, then when the air comes, it makes like a white noise.
Like a
It makes like a certain white noise, which is quite a loud noise.
right,
And you can sleep with that, and it blocks out the banging.
right.
But multiple times a night, the shampoo bottle would fall down, then the banging would wake me up, then I have to go there and I have to
But
spend
who taught you this?
other prisoners.
Other prisoners taught
Yeah,
you.
a bit of other prisoners and a
Okay.
bit of improvisation by myself.
How long are you in this prison for?
So I'm there for 2 years.
In this situation here?
Yes, I'm there for 2
Okay,
years.
and mentally, how are you handling this? Because it's not like
so-
the UK, so I don't
no.
think you can be prepared.
So there's like 1 suicide attempt a week, 3 eyewitnesses in 1 day. One guy's cell, I was actually walking past and he had tried to cut his throat and he'd smeared blood all over the walls. It smelled like a butcher's shop. So when I went back, I could smell the blood. It smelled like a butcher's shop. And I had to get therapy when I came back to break that association from that.
Did you ever
from that thing.
contemplate it?
No, I didn't.
It didn't even cross your mind?
No, I didn't.
Okay, and that's just your faith?
Yeah, that's just my faith, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had difficult moments and I prayed to God that I wish, if it's better for me, then take my life. I did make those prayers, but I didn't actually contemplate that I'm going to take my own life. So, yeah, so...
You stayed there for 2 years?
Those 2 years were long and they were hard and they were difficult. And I'm working on my case and I'm spending hours working on my case.
Have you got a different lawyer then, or how does it work? You got
so I was appointed a court-appointed lawyer. This young lady by the name of Kelly Barrett, she was my main lawyer. And
are they really helping you out there? Or...
She was, her and her boss, a guy by the name of, his name was Terry Ward. She was the main one who worked on my case. And before I went to America, I had a very negative view of America and Americans.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have outside America.
Yeah.
My experiences with what those lawyers and their families, what they did for me in those 2 years, it totally changed my view of Americans.
Yeah.
And it gave me, I know there's like in every country, you have like their scumbags, you have their psychopaths and sociopaths.
I've actually lived in America, and the average American is very, very friendly.
Yes.
Like more friendly than someone from here.
Yes.
And I told that to people.
And they're genuine.
Yeah, genuine, lovely people.
And if they hate you, they tell you to your face. They're not two-faced.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Yeah.
They'll tell me, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Instead of the two-faced thing, I respect.
So
Which state were you in?
LA mainly, then Miami.
Okay, so California, okay, Miami is a bit different. Okay, so I'm on the East
For
Coast.
me, I'm not going to lie, the British accent broke a lot of barriers because it interests a lot of people. Oh, you're British, you know what I mean? There would be a conversation starter. And,
in prison,
right.
I got popularity because of my accent.
Right, yeah. Americans, for me, were fascinated about the English, British accent.
And these guys would come to me.
Absolutely fascinated.
All right? And they said, hey, because where you from? Where you from, bro?
It's mind-blowing to them. There's a British man there.
Where you from? I said, I'm from London. London, England? I said, yeah, London, England. Wow, man, that's awesome.
What's it like here?
Have you met the Queen? Next
They
question.
say that, oh, you met the Queen? Yeah, they think you're all...
And I'm like, have you met Obama? They said, nah, man. I said, I ain't met the Queen, man.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
And then one guy said, he's like, the concept they have, he goes, hey, bro, is it true that in England, if you steal, they chop your hand off? And I said to him, I said, nah, bro. I said, England is like America. Okay, it's more like England is more like America than like Afghanistan or something like that.
Yeah.
Because some of these have not left their neighborhoods or their cities or whatever. I had former U.S. Marines, former U.S. Special Forces who are now prison officers. Some of them were actually quite respectful to me.
Yeah.
Because the way it is, the longer tours of duty you've done, the more kudos you have, even amongst veterans. So a guy that's done 8 years and a guy that's done 4 months, he's a kid, but that one's going to have the more respect.
Yeah.
And some of them used to have, I had some long conversations with them. We spoke about the war, and they all said that they sent us to invade the Iraqis. The Iraqis didn't do anything to us. We went there to fight those people. They spoke about PTSD, and they shared with me stuff that, stuff that they'd witnessed. So 2 years I spent there, which was one day in that prison is like 1 year in any high security prison. America is prison. You know, I did this documentary, this Channel 5 documentary for called Maximum Security, and they wanted me to talk about Belmarsh and all that. And separate to the filming, I said to them, I said, you know, I've done time in American prisons, and 1 day there is equal to like a year in Belmarsh. He said, we know, but so I gave them whatever they wanted about Belmarsh, and they make this. That's all theatrics.
And then what type of people are you meeting in American prison?
So in the Supermax, at that one, because it was a state Supermax, I met this guy, like gang members, people that have killed people. I've met people that had killed people in prison. Yeah, I met several of those that had killed their cellmates and bludgeoned them to death or punched them to death. So 2 years I spent there, and then my case went before one of the most senior judges in America. She was the chief federal judge for the District of Connecticut, a fair, decent lady by the name of
Are you charged at
Jan
this point? Because
Hall.
you know you've got no
So
charge.
when I get to US, so now I'm charged.
What's
The charges is that on those websites, which had 4,000 articles, 99% of which were about the wars in Bosnia and Chechnya, those news that we used to do, there was 2 articles that were put on that website, not by me, but I was aware of them, that were asking people to give financial support to the Taliban government, the same people who are now running Afghanistan, believe it or not, and that the US and UK are talking to.
Right.
But at that time, apparently they were under sanctions.
Right.
And those 2 articles, they were a breach of... so when I was doing that, or when I took responsibility, I'm breaking US law by doing that. Even though no money was transferred or nothing, it was to get that... If you want to help, go to those people and donate to them. That's all the articles they said. Why America? Because there was about 20 or 30 mirror websites, copies of this website, and one of them, for a short time, went through a company that was based in Connecticut, and that's how they claimed jurisdiction.
Right.
It's a scam, because extradition is meant to be where I shoot someone in California, LA, and I run back to England. I have to go back.
Yeah.
And I remember during the legal process, my lawyers, they're saying, in the legal, when they're talking, well, that Mr. Ahmad, the reason we submit, he should not return to America. And I say to my lawyers, guys, why are you saying the word return? What do you mean return? What crime have I committed there? And okay, I went there for like a week, but what crime have I committed there? Then I came running back, like I'm a fugitive fleeing from justice. They said, look, we know that, it's just a legal term. So after 2 years then, this judge saw all the evidence against me, including secret classified material, where even my lawyers had to spend like 4 or 5 months security clearance to be able to see that material. They had to go to some special location to see that. They can't even tell me what that material is.
Right.
So the judge saw all of that, and her conclusion was, this man is not a terrorist.
So you got the not guilty.
Well, it's not a not guilty, because I pleaded guilty when I got there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I pleaded guilty. So I've been in prison now for almost 10 years. I've been in the Supermax for a year and a half. They offered me a deal. If you plead guilty, you'll be back in the UK within 6 months. I said, where do I sign? I said, I'm happy to sign anything.
Okay, so they give you that deal.
Yeah, I was prepared to do that.
After all this time, you got to say you're guilty.
After 9.5 years, if I say that I'm guilty...
even though in your heart you don't feel guilty.
I mean, according to the laws of my country, which is this country where I was living, I'm not guilty because I was never charged with anything.
Right.
I thought, okay, because at that point it doesn't matter. I've been in prison 9.5 years.
Did they do that to save face, to say, right, listen?
Yeah.
So the Americans can say he is guilty, he said he was guilty.
But that's the way the US justice system works. 98.5% of federal cases in America get resolved by a guilty plea. Because they say to you, if you go to trial and you lose, dude, you're getting 100 years in prison.
Right, so they said
But if you plead guilty now, you just get 3 years.
So they said if you plead guilty, you'll get 3 years or 6 months?
Now, in my case, it was like, if you fight trial and you lose, you'll get life in prison, in solitary confinement. If you plead guilty, you'll get anything between 0 to 25 years, but you will get credit for all the 9.5 years you've already been in prison.
Right.
So I was looking at, when I pleaded guilty, I thought, okay, worst case scenario, I might get another 6 years in prison.
Right, and
But
that's
I'm definitely
all,
going to go home.
and that's all on paper, so they can't.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's
they,
like
they can't
done
trick
through,
you or
It's
nothing.
done through the judge.
Okay.
It's done in court.
So it's the maximum you're going to do is 6 years, because you're saying 0 to
Yes,
25,
yeah.
mate. That's just not.
No, but I've already done like 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, so that's still
And I'm
15 though.
And I'm not going to get 25. And then they cut 15% off for like good behavior or whatever.
Right.
But no one gets the full, like you know,
Okay.
That my lawyers and other similar cases to mine, people had got like 15 years.
So you just think, I'm just going to
years.
sign it. I have to, because
Yeah.
you're so at this point.
Yeah, I'm prepared to sign anything. I said, I'll say, you
Say-
name it. I'll
you
say
say
I
I did
admit
anything.
to it. Yeah, I
okay,
admit to it.
Cool. You did mention off camera that you met the Sinaloan cartel.
Yeah, that's coming.
Oh, that's coming. Sorry.
So what happened now is after now,
I thought it wasn't coming because you're going.
I plead guilty, I get sentenced, and the judge says, this man was not a terrorist. This is a good person.
The judge says that?
Yes. I read references from people that knew him from birth up to prison, and I received hundreds of pages of letters, and all of them said they spoke about this guy, that he has empathy, he has compassion, he's caring, he tried to help his community, tried to help his people, blah, blah, blah. And he said that, you know, I have no concerns about you, that you're risk to anyone. You know, I don't think you'll be I don't expect to see you in my court. Again, I don't think I'll see you.
Yeah,
and basically, she said that he was not involved. You are not involved in, you know, this man was not involved in terrorism. That's a verdict. So she basically gave me just another 10 months. So where I'm thinking I might get another 8 years,
Okay.
she gave me another 10 months in prison. And she said, take this man out of the Supermax and put him in a low security prison. What is he doing in that prison?
Okay.
So after that is like a vindication. Even though I've pleaded guilty, she said, look, you pleaded guilty, so I have to sentence you. But I know what you did. You went to help your people who were subjected to oppression and genocide. But, you know, the website you set up, there was a couple of articles on there and they broke US law, and that's what you pleaded guilty to, and that's what I'm sentencing you to. So
what was that feeling like, knowing that I'm actually going to go home soon?
After 10 years without trial, it was like, the way to describe it is like I've been carrying a mountain for 10 years. And now that mountain has been lifted. Now I know that I'm going home.
Wow.
So then I got moved from there to about 4 or 5 different prisons. I did some time in Brooklyn, New York, and in a penitentiary, so different prisons, and eventually I ended up to the prison where I was going to serve my sentence, which was at the top of a mountain in Pennsylvania, and it's a federal prison. This was a general population prison. 1,200 prisoners, Italian mob mafia, Russian mafia, like Russian gun runners, Mexican cartels, Colombian cartels, Colombian drug lords. One of my cellmates there was a Colombian drug lord who was one of the leaders of the Cali cartel. If you've seen like Narcos season 3, the Cali cartel, this guy was one of its leaders. His brother-in-law was the leader of the Cali cartel.
Right.
He's one of the most, I met him, he's a 70-year-old man. I don't even know if he's still alive now, or if he may have died. By the time that I met him, he was, this guy was a boss.
Yeah.
These guys were bringing in 45 tons of cocaine per shipment. They're bringing it by plane into airstrips straight into the American mainland.
This is that movie stuff that people make movies about.
He was the rival. He was a rival to Pablo Escobar. Escobar knew this guy personally. He was a rival because you had Medellin cartel, then you had Cali.
Yeah.
U.S. government described him as one of the most significant narcotics traffickers in prison in the United States today. He was.
What was his name?
Freddie Aguilera.
Right.
Whether you call it, or they call it the kingpin or drug lord, or
this is the
godfather. This
Right.
was the guy. And
I bet he had some stories.
he had some stories which yeah, I'll share one of his stories, but he had some stories to tell me. So I shared a cell with him for 6 months. I learned Spanish living with him. I live with Mexican cartel guys. I shared a cell with one of them for like 6 months.
And there was no violence between you or nothing like that?
As in me?
Yeah. Like,
no, me, I respect everyone.
Yeah, but I don't know if, people try it with you, Jeremy, I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Okay. And, and there's a lot of Muslims in that prison. I think 1/4 of the prison were Muslims. So on a physical basis.
And are you known as well? Do you have that?
No, there I wasn't known like I didn't
here.
have that like the UK.
Okay,
no.
okay.
I'm just an ordinary guy who's from the UK.
I thought they might have made a media fuss of you.
No.
Okay, cool.
No, I'm just an ordinary guy from the UK on a terrorism case, and they just see me the way I deal with, and I'm just respectful to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and then I made friends.
So go on, one of the stories that he told you.
Okay. So at that point, he's been in prison for he has been in prison since 1985. So
Wow.
I'm meeting him in 2015. So he's been in prison already for 30 years.
Yeah.
So US penitentiaries, so American prisons are violent. In UK prisons, I saw people get stabbed, I saw fights, I saw people get stabbed, slashed. But I never saw anyone get killed there because the prisoners still know they're coming out. But in the US, there's many prisoners there that are not coming out. Penitentiaries are violent. He told me the story that he was in one penitentiary and there were these 2 cell thieves. You do not snitch, thou shalt not snitch, thou shalt not steal from another prisoner's cell. You do not do that, okay? Anyway, there were 2 Mexican prisoners, tall one and a short one, and they were cell thieves. So the tall one would keep lookout, and the short one would go and he would steal from the cells. One cell that he went and stole from belonged to a gang called the Aztecas.
Right.
He went and he stole something from there, and but someone spotted him. So a couple of days later, and that was a cell belonged to one of the Aztecas. So a couple of days later, they get this short guy. They said, come, let's go for a walk. They come to the cell, and there's like 3-4 of them sitting there. And the leader of that unit, the Aztecas in that unit, he said to him, he goes, right, here's the deal. Here's a shank. You kill your friend, and you'll live.
Wow.
Those 2, tall guy and the short guy, have been friends for years. They're always talking to each other. They're eating together. They're walking around the exercise yard together. They're like tight blood brothers. Here's the shank. You kill your friend and you'll live. What do you think he did?
Killed him.
He went straight back and he killed his friend. Killed him. As he's running, he's quickly rushing back to change the blood or get rid of the shank, and to
They killed him as well.
He comes back to his cell. When he gets to a cell, who's waiting in a cell? The Aztecas.
Right.
And they killed him.
See, I know the code.
Yeah.
That don't mean I want to go there. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the sort of places. That's what you're talking about.
You did say one story about the cartel meeting the president or something. They used to.
Yes. There was
Run me that one, because that sounded a bit.
There was so you had like Sinaloa Zetas were there. Sinaloa were there. Mexican Mafia was there. So there was a guy there from one of these cartels, and he was one of their senior. He was like the number 2 Mexican guy in that prison. So my cellmate was the number 3 Mexican guy in that prison. And this guy was the number 2, and we sort of made a friendship, and we used to talk, and I spent like a year with them. And he used to be like a paramilitary, or he used to be one of their trainers. I think he's a former soldier, and he said that once our cartel leaders had a meeting with the serving president of Mexico in an aircraft hangar. He said, I witnessed it with my own eyes because we were there to provide security. Because we were there in this aircraft hangar. You're talking the president of a country of 150 million people, the serving president. He goes, we were there. He goes, the president came in with all of his like several SUVs and all his security, and we were there to security for our own like cartel people. And they came there they went and they had like they had a meeting and they spoke and everything. Then they went. So all this stuff you hear from the movies about the influence the cartels have on, he saw it, he witnessed it himself.
It's true.
But this Colombian cellmate of mine, yeah, some of the stories he told me about how, yeah, the stuff that how they used to the Colombians, how they would smuggle cocaine and what they would do and the stuff that they are like, yeah, it literally is the stuff from movies. There's many stories like that. He like once I asked him, I said, how much would New York get through in a year in the 80s? Because he's at the top of the chain.
Yeah.
People here getting caught for 10 grams of cocaine and they're like thinking, yeah, I'm like, man's like big time drug dealer. These guys at one point, they controlled 90% of the global cocaine trade. They were processing $166 million of cocaine every single week in America. In Narcos, there's an episode where there was a factory that they set up somewhere in New Jersey where they were processing, and it caught fire. That was based on his story. That was his case, and you know it talks about in one of the episodes in Narcos. But when I saw him, he's a fragile man with diabetes, with heart problems, with teeth problems, who would get up 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the prison, medication. To me, he was very good, very honorable man. On a basis, like he would share his food with me, respectful. I'd get up to pray. He was fully understanding. We'd have some jokes as well, and he only spoke Spanish, so I'd learned Spanish living with him. And he'd be on the bottom bunk and I'll be on the top bunk and I'll be telling him stories and he'd be laughing his head off. Quite surreal. There's me and I'm telling him stories in Spanish about this cat that we used to have that had AIDS and all that, and I'm telling him that and he's like laughing his head off and quite surreal. It was in that thing. And then
I guess it's home time.
So after a year in that thing, I basically I came home. I spent 3 weeks in a detention center while they sorted out the paperwork for me to come home.
Detention where, in America?
In America, yeah, immigration detention center, while they sorted out the paperwork and everything. They put me on a plane, and I have to say that the officials that brought me back from the ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, there's a guy, his name was George, was it? Or Chris George, I can't remember. A respectable guy, you know, decent guy, respectable guy. And I said to him, I said, when I go home, I said, I said to him, thank you for treating me with respect. I said, when I go back, I'm going to tell people not just about the cruel treatment that was given to me in America, but also the kind treatment. He said, were you treated cruelly in America? I said, yes, I was. He goes, on behalf of the US government, he goes, I want to apologize. We're not all like that. I respect that man for saying that. And I did tell him that one day I would talk about him. And
there you go. And so, you land on British
So basically, I go onto a commercial flight, and I got these two guys with me.
Normal commercial plane?
Normal commercial plane.
No handcuffs?
No. These two guys are with me. And these two guys are next to me. And Washington, D.C., Dulles Airport. So when the plane takes off, it's like where the plane is flying, the sun is rising.
Yeah.
When I came into land at Heathrow, behind me, the sun was setting.
Right.
So look at the symbolism.
Metaphorical, yeah.
A new life is beginning, and that life has come to an end. I landed home on the 27th night of Ramadan in 2015. Got to the airport, few questions the police officers asked me, then they dropped me home. They said, we've been asked, if you want, you can make your own way back, or if you want, we've been asked to
your
offer
parents
you a
all
lift
know,
home.
people know you're coming home, yeah?
The Foreign Office had told them, because for security I didn't know and I wasn't able to tell them, but the Foreign Office had told them that he's coming back and he's going to be on this plane.
Yeah.
I got back home, the police dropped me home. I went back to my former bedroom and...
your parents' house?
My parents' house, yeah. No one was there because they were waiting at another sibling's house.
Why? Because they didn't know?
No, that's how I think that's how they'd arranged it.
Okay.
Because like, the other house was bigger.
Yeah.
So parents' house was empty. I got there, and brother-in-law met me there. I went into the house after 11 years. I put my head on the floor and I made a prostration of thanks to God. Then I went and I met my family and the kids. I didn't have kids at that point, but everyone who was like in the family and the nieces, nephews, and everyone was there. People have often asked how that feeling was.
Yeah, I was going to say, can it even be put into words?
That's what I was going to say. No, it can't be.
Yeah.
You cannot articulate something like that. So
I can visualize it. I can feel it. Like I can feel the emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like I can feel it.
From
like, I can
thinking,
feel.
it's
I've
like
actually got not tears in my eyes, but I can feel that thing. If I start thinking about it more, I might get them tears in my eyes, and that's just because I've sat through your whole story of what you've told me, and do you know what I mean? I ain't even lived it. Do you understand?
Bro, it's like coming back from the dead. Let's say you've died, you've been buried, people have said their memories, you're finished.
Yeah.
And then after 11 years, you come back, you got white hair, you've lost your hair, you got a white beard, and your family thought, that's it, he's not coming back. And when I got on that plane to America, I thought, I am not going to be present to bury my parents. I've internalized
Your parents
that.
are both still alive?
Yes, alhamdulillah. I've internalized that I am not going to be here to bury my parents. To come back from that, and then to see your parents and your family again, to say you've been given a new life, it doesn't even come close. Every experience I had since then, when I went swimming for the first time in 11 years, it's like I'd never been swimming before. When I ate a mango, proper mango, I meant like Pakistani mangoes, of course.
Come on, the best out there, baby. Let me put it out there.
Disrespect Indians,
Bengalis,
Sri Lankans,
facts are facts.
South Africans, Brazilians.
Them Pakistani mangoes, woo!
Okay.
Anyway.
Chosa.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I had that, it's like I never eaten mango before. And it was just, it was like I touched a tree. So my family said, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to a forest because I haven't touched a tree. So I touched a tree for the first time in 11 years. I saw sunsets out in the open.
Just the air,
I felt grass.
air hitting your face, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's 9 years now it's been. I've been home 9 years now. A lot has happened since then. I had about 100 hours of therapy I've had since then to help me process and to deal with the trauma of everything what's happened.
Has it helped?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trauma, and that's one thing that as men in particular, we have very fragile egos. And, we are afraid to seek help. We are afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerable means when you're struggling with something that you say, bro, I'm struggling with something, I need help. We internalize it. And vulnerability, people think it's a sign of weakness. It's not, it's a sign of strength. When Khabib did his last fight after his dad died, he defeats the guy. What does he do? He gets on the floor. He starts crying like a baby. Can anyone say Khabib's not tough? Because what he's showing at that point, I don't give 1 billion people are watching. I don't give a damn what 1 billion of those people think. At this moment, I'm missing my dad. I feel like crying. I'm going to cry. You have a problem with it? That's your problem.
So it was your faith that got you through this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I will ask the question. Some people may say it's your faith that got you into it in the first place.
So I believe, good question. I believe in destiny, and I believe God is just, and I believe that often in life things happen to you that you think are bad for you, but they turn out to be good for you. I've had various friends often tell me that this was the worst thing that happened to me, but it was also the best thing that happened to me. Reflections looking back, and obviously we could sit here for a couple of weeks and we wouldn't get through my whole story and all the stories and everything.
And I thank you so much for...
We've just tipped on it.
And what are we, 4 hours in?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Reflections looking back, I think, yeah, what I would say is, yeah, that first of all, have hope. Have hope that I'm just an ordinary guy. There's nothing extraordinary about me. I don't consider myself like a strong person or mentally strong or resilient or all these things that people talk about. Never lose hope. Whatever you're going through in your life, you can find a way through it. Me, I found it through faith. I found a support network, and I found that everywhere I went, including in prison, including where I didn't know anyone. Don't lose hope. Things will get better. Don't be, the second thing, especially for men, is, guys, be authentic, be genuine, be real. We all struggle. All of us are going through stuff. All of us in our own lives, we might act all this big and tough and macho. We're all going through stuff in our own lives. It may not be prison, it may not be public like in my case. It could be financial difficulties, it could be health, it could be cancer, it could be family stuff, it could be disabilities, it could be mental health. We are all suffering, we are all struggling, we're all going through stuff. Get help. Get help with each other. Get help from one another. Get support from one another. Men are internalizing so much. We got this masculinity thing that we have to be like all this macho and tough. And by us internalizing those natural emotions that God has created in us, is leading to domestic violence, so much domestic violence, so much wrong that we men were doing to like women. I met so many wife killers in prison. So many things that men were doing because we have emotions, we have anger, we have rage, which we're not able to. Well, I'm not able to tell you that I'm struggling, okay, because you might think I'm weak. But then that anger, that rage has to go somewhere. Where does it go then? It goes on my wife, it goes on my kids, it goes in the house. They're paying the price for it. And this is a really big crisis, and it's leading to suicide, leading to suicide. So the second thing I would say from this for men is it takes courage to suffer. It takes courage to be vulnerable. But get help. Me, I was the sort of person where if you were my cellmate, I wouldn't whether it was in America or Britain, I didn't give a damn what anyone thought of me. I thought, I'm going to be myself. Let everyone come into to line. A little anecdote I'll share with you. In the Supermax prison that I was at, the top prisoner, the big boss of that prison was this Italian-American prisoner who's like one of the leaders of the Latin Kings gang, and he was doing multiple life sentences for multiple gang-related murders. The way other prisoners interacted with him and the way other prison officers interacted with him, you knew that this guy has, he has kudos. And in prison, the way it is in UK and in America, the more F words you can say, the more respect you get.
Right.
The more cool you are, So if you can say, I woke up in the morning, I brushed my teeth and had breakfast. If you can say, I woke up in the effing morning and brushed my effing teeth and had my effing breakfast, that's really good. You're meant to be.
Yeah.
I don't swear. Okay? I don't believe it's part of my religious manners. It's not the way I was brought up. I don't swear. I'm not going to go to prison and start swearing,
right,
so people think that, oh yeah, he's like one of us. Because my prophet, he didn't use vulgar language. I'm not going to use it. If you got a problem with that, that's your problem. That's not me. I'm not going to do that. So this prisoner, DJ, his name was, he used to, like all the other prisoners, he would talk, and when he's talking, he's swearing. Once he was talking to me, and he said the F word, and he immediately apologized. He goes, I'm really sorry, Barbara. I said, it's all right, whatever, He goes, because people that don't swear, I try not to swear in their presence out of respect for them. So this was the baddest man in that prison. And by me holding on to my principles and being principled and not being like everyone else, that didn't give me less respect. It gave me more respect. And that's what I found. If I'm polite, that's how my parents brought me up. I'm not going to all this wah in prison. I'm not going to do that. Thank you, good morning, please. That's me. That's where I was brought up. You don't have a problem with that? You do you. That's what I'm going to do.
So what does the future hold, sir? What does it look like? What are you doing with yourself?
There's
I'm jumping a little bit because of time, and
That's okay.
I'm
okay.
you know, I'm
The tubes are
mindful
gonna
of the
run out.
time. I know you've got to get back.
There's always light to be found in the darkness of the past, in everyone's life. And I say that to all your viewers, that whatever you're struggling, whatever you're going through, life is not all. It's not all dark. It's not all light. It's not all good. It's not all bad. If you're going through a hard patch, look back in your life, and I used to do that in prison. I used to look back about the happy memories.
Do you look
and
back
revisit
now?
them.
Sorry to ask. Do those memories still come back, or have you can't shut it off?
No, I do. Of
turn
course.
the chapter, turn the corner.
No. I do all the time. If I'm like with a bunch of friends, whatever. Sometimes I get people want to invite me to their house, just to sit down and share his stories. That's why. What's his name? He told me.
Yeah, that's why.
UK Apache. He called me to his barbecue.
He did indeed.
And he said.
And I did hear you telling stories. But some may feel like, you know, is that your way of dealing with it? You're happy to just better out than in kind of thing?
Yes, because our past makes us who we are. I'm not going to deny that. That's part of my life.
Yeah, it's not about denying, it's about processing in your own, because you've gone through hell and back.
Exactly. It was hard.
Yeah.
But there were fun moments. There was adventure. There was laughing moments where I barely laughed. There was enlightenment, there was learning, and it was hard. I'm not going to lie that.
I have to say your outlook is absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. I have to say that. It almost seems like you're just telling a story. You didn't actually do all that, but I know you've done all that. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
So what are you doing? Like, is there anything that, you know,
I mean,
there's got to be a book of some sort, because this is something. There's got to be some Hollywood, someone to knock it. This is like
that is something in the pipeline. I mean, I do some. Obviously, I have a job that earn money with that.
Yeah.
I also I try to speak to young people. I have a YouTube channel, so anyone who wants to hear more stories.
Just Babar Ahmad.
Babar Ahmad YT.
Okay.
And or you can type Babar Ahmad prison stories and it'll come up. And there's more stories on there. Some of them are of like a religious theme, and there's stories from war and prison in there. I try to talk to young people and to share my experiences. Prison is not glamorous. Gang life is not glamorous. Thug life, which is glamorized, it's not glamorous. True masculinity is by having a soft heart. True masculinity, you want to be a real man? Soften your heart. Be authentic. Be genuine. Forget all this boys don't cry and all of that crap is forget all that crap. You want to cry? Cry. It shows that you have a soft heart. Something upsets you. There was this guy in the federal prison I was at, a Jamaican prisoner, one of the most well-respected prisoners, doing life for 3 gang-related murders, been in prison 25 years. He was he's a well-respected guy in that prison. So every weekend we used to have movie night in the prison. You tune into the radio and your headphones, and you sit in front of whichever TV has the movie on. And sometimes in movies, they're tear-jerking movies, sometimes they're sad scenes, whatever. And in prison, most of the guys are like, don't cry and I'm all that tough and all that. And this bro, Boogie his name was, Boogie would be crying his eyes out. His beard would be wet. He'd be crying his eyes out. And he'd just look at me and he'd just like shake his head and like cry, like he just shake, in tears. And afterwards he told me, he goes, those movies, man, sad ones. He goes, I can't handle them. I just start crying. And I respected that of him. Not just respected, I loved that guy. And a lot of people loved him. People love authenticity. They love when you're genuine. Anyone can give the talk. People can see through crap. They can see through BS. You're putting this tough guy image, whatever. People see straight through that. Just keep it real. And I say that to men, any men that are watching this. I've seen real men in my life. I've been to prison. I've been to war. I've lived a little bit of life. And, being authentic and being genuine is one of the most, like enriching things that you can do for your own life and for your own personal, and for your relationships.
Okay, so the book is coming though.
Inshallah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, inshallah.
Is
You'll be
there-
first to hear it,
Listen,
inshallah.
like you've blown my absolute cranium today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up, sir?
If you got kids, be gentle with your kids. Be gentle with them. There's no such thing as tough love. Be gentle with your kids. Show them unconditional love. Almost every single criminal that I saw in prison, all of them had unresolved childhood trauma. Process your childhood traumas. Find out what makes you angry. Why is it that you can't go into a lift alone? What happened in your childhood? Why is it that you can't, something starts happening to you when someone puts ice cream in your plate, for example? What happened? Learn about yourself. We live together on this planet, and you can't live with other people until you know first about yourself. And showing unconditional love and being gentle to kids. All of these guys I met in prison, gang members, all of them were beaten by their parents. All of them were battered by their parents. So clearly tough love doesn't work. It doesn't work. Something has gone wrong along the way. You know, children are a blessing, and if you've got kids, even if they're grown up, if your kids are big and you made mistakes, apologize to them, say sorry to them. They are the future, they are the next generation. You know, whatever mistakes we made in our life, and we don't have to pass that on to the next generation.
One final question, I'm done, I promise. Are you happy? Genuinely happy?
I am, alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah, yes. In my heart I am, yes.
I just want to say thank you so much. It's been one of the most insightful episodes I've ever done. I doubt it's going to be topped. Thank you for your time, your patience, and there's a warmth in your smile which I can't believe is there, but it's there. So long may that continue.
Ameen. I appreciate that.
Long,
Thank
you know, and I wish you all the best, and you have a brother for life here, sir.
But we have to hug them.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, man. God bless you.
Thank you.
We are out. Bye.